Mark did, however, start a TikTok just to send me videos of long legs.
Right, because you hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, so it
Just
is
trying
what it
out.
is.
Well, I just posted my a video right before this. I went and watched Violet, that movie
Yep.
Violet.
I saw that.
I fucking hated it.
Did you really?
It was fucking terrible. All these, I'm not gonna name names, but all these goddamn creators that were like, "This is the sleeper pick for horror
That's
movie
exactly
of the
what I was
year."
about to say.
And I watched it and I was like, "This, okay, I love a slow burn." That shit was fucking glacial. It was boring. It was slow as shit. They tried to be avant-garde. They tried to be beautiful art house with like the cinematography, and it fucking fell so goddamn flat.
If you want to see a good movie that was art house but really well done, look up Hagasuza.
Okay.
That was really good.
I mean, I posted a video and then I was like, man, maybe I should have gone and watched it again. And then I was like, well, hold on a minute. Like maybe I just had sand in my vagina. I don't know. Like maybe it was just a bad day.
Fair enough.
But I was like, you know what? No, that movie sucked.
Well,
Fuck
let's
that movie.
let's get the live stream going so people can enjoy this
Hell yeah.
insanity.
I saw Veronica was gonna come back.
Yeah, she said she was.
Oh yeah.
She probably will only be there for an hour though, because Loriana's going live at 8.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I love Loriana's lives, but this was I always record Sundays and she knows that. So
Yeah, I'm currently watching the Ravens kick the shit out of Dallas right now, which is fun.
Nice.
go sports.
Yeah,
Yay,
yeah.
sports.
That's what my friend says. They're like, yay, sports ball.
Yep. Okay, we are live. Let me start the intro music and then we'll get our shit going.
Hell yeah.
Tell me what you think of this song.
It's great.
I hear nothing, Jim.
You don't?
Same. Yeah, I don't
You
hear
know
it either.
why? You want to know why?
Did you mute
It's
it?
it's because I'm not sharing my screen. It's because I'm a fucking moron.
Hey, Jim. What sort of work do you do?
Shut up, Mark.
You don't have to work on IT.
I like it.
Yeah, very 80s.
I'm feeling it. I did not create this song. This is all AI generated.
AI is
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
I've been having so much fun with it, but it is
Every
what
now
it
and
is.
then, I'm like, I need to write like a little quick synopsis of a movie. Like, I have so many thoughts in my head, and I'm like, hey, Chat GPT, put together a little quick thing, and I'm like, this sounds so much better than my dumbass trying to like put words together.
Words together. Words
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So, hello and welcome to Horror Movies and Shit. I'm your host, Jim, and with me as always is...
Mark, or usually.
Oh my God, Mark, I love it. I love that fucking gargoyle.
It's not a gargoyle. Jim, do you not know what this is?
it looks like the Golgothan shit demon from Dogma.
No, come on.
No, I sincerely thought that was the creature from Twilight Zone, the movie.
No, y'all fail. I'll give you a clue. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite starred in this in the 80s.
Oh,
That doesn't help
Jesus.
me.
That helps me
Yeah.
none.
It's Terror Vision. You've not seen
Oh.
Terror Vision? Terror Vision's awesome.
I have not. But
I wish
thank
Uncle
you,
Rico-
Mark, for not putting up Jennifer Carpenter. Thank you.
Oh, just
Hey.
you wait.
Hey, don't hate on Jennifer Carpenter.
All the time. Are you kidding me?
So, a funny thing
Have you
when
never listened to this podcast, Ryne?
I have, and I know that's not the most popular person, but I will say this: I loved Dexter, and I tried to get my wife to watch it, and she watched one episode, and she's like, I can't get past Deb's character. She's like, that actress is fucking terrible.
I love your
Yeah,
wife
she
even
is.
more now.
Um,
anyway,
divorce is always possible. What?
Mark, who do we have with us today?
We have David and Ryne.
Yep, we
What's
we
going
are
on?
Sinister
Who
Scripts
are
podcast.
they, Mark? Who are
These are
they?
guests these are guests that you invited.
That is true.
That's true. That is true. So David and Ryne have a podcast, Mark. Do you know
Yes.
what a podcast is?
It's something older white guys do when they're not very happy with their life.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
that's
wrong.
that's not fair, right? I mean, that's fair.
Hey,
I'm okay with
Jim,
that.
Jim, are we doing like live questions? Is it on the Facebook?
I'm following the live, but nobody's in here yet, so
Is it on Zoom or is it on Facebook?
it's on both.
No.
I mean, I'm not that stupid. I've made mistakes before, but come on. Give me a little credit today.
Damn.
Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the
Yeah.
podcast.
Hey,
This is
thanks
not
for
mine.
having us.
Anyway, so Mark, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about podcasts and how older white man with no life just make podcasts.
Mark, you
so
do
that
realize
they
they're
seem
like 10 years
interesting.
younger than us, right?
What?
You realize they're 10 plus years younger than us.
David looks
Yeah.
young. David's not as young as he looks.
No, yeah.
Are you 48, David?
I'm 41.
Okay, you're still a baby.
I'm 38, so yeah.
I know
Ryan's
how
the
old you are, Ryne. We've had this conversation before.
I'm always I don't know how it works out this way, but I'm always like one of the youngest in like my circle of people. I'm like, I don't
That'll
know.
end in like 10 years.
Yeah, that's okay. Are you
Oh,
saying I'm gonna
Veronica's
end in 10
on.
years? Hey, Veronica.
Everybody say hi to Veronica. So anyway, you
Hello.
guys, please give us the lowdown on your podcast. Tell us about
Sure.
you guys.
Sure. So we run Sinister Scripts podcast, and really there's not like some like magic story behind it. So my wife and David's wife are like really good friends, and me and David started hanging out and realized, hey, we really love horror movies and had a lot of the same interests. And so one day I literally was like, hey man, we sit around and talk shit about horror movies all the time, so why don't we just like record a few of them? And that's
Yeah.
kind of how the podcast got started. And we
Yeah,
really
you texted me, you're like, hey man, if I do a podcast, do you want to do it with me? I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not?
Right?
exactly.
That's how
So-
it started.
Yeah,
I
so
mean-
we started in like February, and
Yeah.
so I think we've
Yeah.
got about 11 episodes now recorded. We've got a few more I need to
Then I
start
clearly
working
missed
on.
out because I thought I was at 5 and I thought I was caught up, so I must have missed some.
There's a few
I
more,
think
yeah.
it's-
We
I think
did
it's
a
double
few.
digits now, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had our first opportunity, to go to a live screening. We did the Beetlejuice 2. You know, we got to set up a table in the theater and kind of mingle with some fans and do some interviews and then go see the movie. So it was a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and
so-
they invited us back for next month. They do Friday night frights at this movie theater where they play like
nice.
old school movies. And so they reached out to us and like, hey, would you guys want to do podcasts on these nights? So we're gonna do, was it The Thing
Yep,
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are the
Yep.
ones we're gonna do.
exactly.
Jim?
Mark?
Oh, it's Carpenter. She's back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why Jim's looking down?
Yes,
Oh,
that's,
God.
I met
that's
her at
just
a
me shaking my head.
I
Anyway,
met her at a convention. She was very nice.
so
Yeah.
let me explain my problem with Jennifer Carpenter. All she does is scream, cry, and say the word fuck a lot.
Yeah,
That is 100% accurate.
That's it.
it is.
And
yeah,
it's
especially for
obnoxious.
Dexter.
Yeah.
And
they,
like for
they treated her the best in the Dexter, the sequel series
Mhm.
that they did because
Mhm.
she was a ghost and he could just shut her up when she got annoying.
exactly.
So she
Yeah.
was ghosting him?
She what?
She was ghosting him.
No, yeah, I mean, kind of.
Yeah,
But it was like even the whole dynamic was weird,
layers,
right?
Jim. There's layers to what I just said.
She played his sister, but they were married for the first 5 years,
That's correct. Yeah.
which is just weird to me.
But then when they started going through the divorce, like their on-screen chemistry, I understand why, but it got really weird.
Mhm.
It was
You
almost
don't
like
know
they
why,
were
huh?
fighting.
Was it the incest or the divorce, you think?
Little of both.
Maybe a
Probably.
little
Yeah,
both.
right. Yeah,
They sure-
Veronica,
they-
nobody likes the Exorcism of Emily Rose. Sorry,
I do. I think it's great.
nobody asked you.
Scott Derrickson.
Anyway, what do you got? So give out your TikTok handles, your Facebook. Where can they find your podcast?
So you can find us on TikTok at Sinister Scripts Podcast. That's probably where we post the most. And also on
Yeah.
Instagram at Sinister Scripts and Facebook at Sinister Scripts. And then we also have a YouTube channel. You can look up Sinister Scripts Podcast. And in pretty much anywhere you want to listen to our episodes, you can listen to them. They're on Spotify, Amazon
Apple
Music, Yep.
Yeah.
all your
pretty much
normal
everything,
spots.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a cycle of the same pictures, isn't it, Mark?
Jim, we have guests on. Can you please focus on them?
Is that Sherry Moon Zombie?
Yes.
Nice.
Her husband got me banned from TikTok for 3 days.
Seriously?
Nice.
Yeah, I talked shit about The Devil's Rejects and how when Priscilla Stiles or Sites or whatever the hell her name is was naked in The Devil's Rejects. That's when I shut the movie off, and
Well,
I got banned for 3 days.
Well, that's because you don't like naked women, Jim.
No, it's because she was on Three's Company, and I didn't want to see her like that.
That's amazing.
Jim, you know she's an actress, right? That's not
I do, yes.
her actual real life, right?
So
Yes, I do.
Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I'm pretty sure that I don't think that she's actually a good actress. She's just in her husband's movies.
I second that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
Unlike
what? I mean, she deserves Oscar after Oscar for each of her wonderful performances. Only Rob Zombie sees the greatness in her. It's one of the cinematic tragedies of our lifetime.
Yeah,
or he's just vagina blind, right?
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to release the super beast.
That's one thing. I may hate his
Yeah.
movies, but I love his music.
I like his music. I do.
I love his music.
I'm a big
His
fan.
movies are trash, except for House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand
That was good.
Corpses was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else is trash. But I love his music.
My favorite part is the 31-minute scene of the one dude shooting the cop. Or can I say
Walter
that?
Goggins.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. We're on Facebook Live.
Okay. Well, that scene was like super. Like I remember being like, "Is this?" I thought I paused the movie. I was like, did my fat ass sit on the remote? I'm looking around for it.
Speaking of, actually not speaking of, but so Sinister Brew dropped 2 new flavors today.
I saw it 6 o'clock. Right.
I've already ordered. I've already ordered. My order's already
Was it
in.
the chai and the something cookie goblin or cookie
The
something?
chaotic cookie something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to try. I'm not a big chai fan, but I might have to try the other one.
If I have them in time, I will bring you a sample down to Miami.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I got to reorder. I'm empty right now, and I've been drinking like. Don't get me wrong. Like I'll buy every now and then if I'm in a hurry. I'll get like the iced coffee from the store. Just I forget the name of it. It's like fine in a pinch, but it's not as good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
fair. That's fair. In a pinch, any coffee will do, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like it's a drug. I mean, really
Yeah.
is. So-
pretty much. Okay, so we wanted to talk about a specific movie, even though we're just sort of all over the place, right?
Yeah,
We wanted to talk about 80s cheese,
Nice.
right?
that's right.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
So just to get a baseline from both of you, what are some of your favorite horror movies?
David, you go
Or
first.
what horror movies kind of got you into horror?
Yeah, David, you go.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite is the original Halloween, but I mean, I love all sorts of stuff from the 80s. I mean, I saw Child's Play when I was way too young to see it. I think I was probably a couple years old when I saw that, and yeah, anything 80s horror I love, especially with like crazy ass creatures. Like the cheesier the better. I love them all, man. I seek that shit out. I love it.
Fair enough.
And for me, my favorite horror, and it's a horror comedy, is Lost Boys. That's my favorite movie. Like I fucking love that movie. I know, Jim, but I think it's like I've only given a 10 to probably a handful of movies. One of them is The Lost Boys. For me, that's a 10. It's perfect. I think that film is like I'm scared for what they're about to do. Like remaking it is what the rumor is. With like
Oh,
I've heard
God.
like Timothy Chalamet attached to it, and I was like, Jesus, please no, God no. I'm like Michael Scott, like God no, God please, Jesus no. Like I'm afraid they're gonna ruin that one. But like my gateway horror movie, what got me into it was Aliens, the sequel. I hadn't seen the first one, but the second one, and I was just like kind of like David. I was like, man, these xenomorphs are awesome. And then that kind of transformed into anything creature. Like, I mean, Jaws is probably number 2 on my list, or 3, like that's up there. And I have family in Florida, and so like Jim knows, like if you saw that one and you live near water, you didn't want to go in the water. Like I remember being a kid, and like every body of water I got into, regardless of lake or pool, I was like, is this big ass shark in here?
So I grew up in
So-
Connecticut, and I never had a problem going to the beach after I saw Jaws. Do you know what scared the shit out of me and kept me out of the water?
Hmm.
Horseshoe crabs.
I
Those
thought you
things
were
are
gonna say.
fucking terrifying.
I thought you were gonna say the Amazon penis fish. Have you seen that thing?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah.
No.
Dude, yeah, there's like some fish in the Amazon that's like attracted to urine. So if you pee in the water, it like swims up there, and then it has
Yeah, okay.
spines.
Oh yeah, I have heard of this. Yes,
I was like,
It-
dude, that terrifies me more than anything in
it
this
figures
world.
prominently in the movie Anaconda. They talk about it a lot.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, they
I
do,
remember
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Do,
one of
do
my.
you know about the pink dolphins in the Amazon?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
apparently they're fucking crazy, right? Whenever they were shooting like Cannibal Holocaust,
Yeah.
they were talking about going down the river, and these pink dolphins would keep on attacking them. Like, what the fuck's going on?
That's hilarious because, like, yeah, you don't think of a dolphin as like, hey, like I gotta watch
Oh,
out for this.
yeah.
But
No,
If you Google it, they look fucking terrifying.
well, that's like a
I've seen,
hippopotamus.
yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, look at this hippo, dude. Hippos are responsible for more deaths than like crocodiles and like
But they're
fucking
fucking
Africa.
adorable as kids.
They look cute, and then they're like, oh, this thing farts out of its mouth and attacks like boats of people.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fucking
I'm out
vicious.
here.
And I don't know why, but I love land tanks. Like I love rhinoceri. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
why, but I saw them at a zoo and I'm like, those are the coolest looking things ever.
It's because you loved it on Ace Ventura when nature crawls and he crawled out of his butt.
Oh, like a glove.
Do you know how many Jim Carrey movies I like?
All of them? 3. Cable Guy, the original Ace Ventura.
None. I gotta say none.
What?
Jim doesn't like movies.
You said 3.
Jim-
You said 3, didn't you?
I like 3 movies.
Oh,
Okay.
3.
All right, let me keep guessing. Liar Liar.
Yes.
That's a good
That's a
one.
good one.
Okay. Liar Liar.
What else is there? Hopefully not The Mask.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Dumb and Dumber?
No.
No? Okay. So The Mask was the second one?
Yes.
Okay, so
Cable
The
Guy.
Mask.
Fuck no.
Oh, was it the what's
Man.
the cough? Is it the Kaufman one?
Yeah, Man on the
Man
Moon.
on the Moon?
Man on the Moon.
No.
What
Uh,
was that like horror one that he did?
20,
that was
number
terrible.
23. Number
Oh,
23
Yeah,
is
so,
that
yeah,
was.
something like that.
Room.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, it's Cusack. Room 1408 or whatever. Was that Cusack?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know. What is it? Tell me.
1408 though.
Tell me.
Once Bitten with Lauren Hutton.
Oh, damn.
that old ass vampire movie.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a big Jim Carrey fan growing up. I fucking
I was
love the
not.
Cable Guy.
I mean,
It
Mr.
was so
Popper's Penguins is okay too, but for the most part, I don't like his work.
And
That's fair.
I would just like to welcome everybody back to the Animal and Jim Carrey podcast.
Well, he is a big fan. By the way, I do have to. So I didn't realize that in our Facebook group we have an author that is a member, and I keep giving
That's
his books a
rude.
shot.
Don't call him a member.
A member of the group, Mark. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
He's thinking of a member.
I know what he's thinking of. But like I was talking shit about one of his books last week, and I felt bad because I didn't realize he was a part of the podcast group, and it wasn't really talking shit. It's just I didn't enjoy it, but I keep giving his books a shot.
But that's fair. I mean, you don't have to.
It is, but I felt bad because I probably would have approached what I said differently.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I have a hard time like when people recommend movies to me and they're like, you got to watch this. And then I watch it and I'm like, yeah, what was wrong
Yeah.
with you? Like, what? Like,
Never take
but,
recommendations.
I mean,
from them
I've
again.
probably done it too. I've probably given someone a recommendation. And like,
Yeah.
there's been some movies that I recommended to David where I'm sure he didn't like, I know he didn't like as much as I did. Speaking of that, what did you like? Did you like was it Ready or Not? Is that what you were watching?
You're next.
You're Next. That was a good one too.
That was
Oh,
a
yeah,
great one.
That was awesome. Especially
fucking-
like the last like 10 minutes, I'm like, somebody's got to get hit with this fucking axe. Like, who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be?
Yeah, but the best scene in that movie was the damn blender.
Oh god, yeah. She
Oh,
breaks it and puts it on top of
That
his
thing
head.
was
I
gnarly. That thing was gnarly.
And do you know what's great is Barbara Crampton's renaissance over the last number of years.
Yeah.
Obviously, 80s Reanimator, From Beyond, Castle Freak, all the classics.
Hey, Mark,
Yes,
I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you.
you've never seen any of those.
That is correct.
no.
But I'm not shocked, Jim. If you said that you had seen them. Also, Chopping Mall.
Loved it.
I've seen that one.
I love
yeah,
that's
that
great.
was a funny one.
Well then Jim, I don't know if I know your favorite. Like we've been talking for quite some time now. I don't know if I know your favorite horror movie, and I definitely don't know Mark's.
It depends on the genre. I can tell you Mark's is Martyrs.
Martyrs.
The
Okay.
original French version, which is a banger for sure.
So I watched that one. I posted a quick video, and it was like the boxer that was all beaten up and bloodied, and they were like, she's like, it was like how I felt after watching Martyrs, and I was like, well, it was pretty good. I feel great. I don't know what happened here. I was like, that's what I felt. I felt like emotionally detached after that when I was like, wow.
That was one of the live episodes where we watched that whole thing live, so you could see my reaction, and it was great.
Listen, there's a lot of movies out there that are really hard watches,
Yes.
but are still really like, and that's so I had someone I posted a video the other day about The Well, and I don't know if either of you have seen that one yet,
I have not
or
yet.
David, and it's a throwback to like those 70s like splatterpunk like Italian films, like kind of like Giallo film. What is it, Lucio Fulcio?
You lost
Lucian
me. You lost
Fulci.
me.
Yes,
You lost
yes.
me at Giallo.
Okay, well, it's just that over the top, like if you've seen Zombie, just over the top blood and gore.
Never
And
seen it.
it was really like, so here's the thing. The movie was difficult to watch, but the story sucked. But there's plenty of movies where I'm okay with the blood and gore and being hard to watch because the storyline is still good. Like the biggest one I can attribute to that is The Sadness. I thought The
love that
Sadness
movie.
was
I
like,
was about
love
to say
it.
The Sadness, yeah.
it stuck with me for so long, and a lot of the scenes were very difficult to watch, and it was like a
Yes.
heavy storyline, and I felt like at the end of it I was still like, you know what, that was a really good movie, even though it was really difficult to watch.
I'm
at
not gonna
times.
lie, the basketball hoop scene had me
Dude.
rolling on the floor. I was laughing.
Where they're
That was
slamming
funny.
dude's
Where
junk
they're
into the-
slamming that dude's nuts. Oh my
He's like,
god.
why'd you stop? I almost got there. I was like, oh my god.
I know. I was like, oh my god.
So if I don't know if you read comic books, but if you look up Crossed
I've heard,
graphic
yes.
novels, basically The Sadness is the Crossed.
So does it explain if is it a virus? Is it a like what is it just like they're not zombies because they're not like eating people?
So
No.
they're almost like from George Romero's The Crazies, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like they still have like faculties, right? They're not
Mhm.
zombies. So they plan stuff and they do stuff, and it's like The Walking Dead, but if it was these infected, whatever you want, raping people and
I
pulling
did
their
kind of
penises off and stuff.
I did like their explanation of like when they were talking about the parts in the brain that control like hypersexuality and aggression, and the parts of your brain that have like the logical parts of your brain. And it's like, think of that connection that like is just broken. It's
Yeah,
like you know like you understand that what you're doing is fucked up, but you can't stop it.
It's the lizard brain, right? That's what they
Yeah.
call it.
I need
Yeah.
to pause for a minute. I just realized that Ryne is traveling, but he still brought a boom mic with him.
I did.
Yes, he
Damn
did.
right. Because here's the reason. So the very before we even recorded our podcast, we were on as a guest to some friends, and I did it with just my computer, like my laptop audio and video. And when I listened back to it, like my voice it sounded really bad. Like it was just like sounded like I was in a closet. So I called David yesterday. I was like, I'm coming by to pick up my mic because like it's got to sound a
You
little
don't want
bit
to make
better.
that mistake again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes,
fair.
but I do have I got my boom, I got everything with me, so worked
Wow,
out
look at you
perfectly.
go. See, Mark, this is how you do podcasting. We don't do shit. Anyway,
I'm still waiting for my paycheck.
Me too. When did
Right?
those happen?
when do
Yeah,
we go
right.
viral? God damn it. So, Ryne, you asked a question many, many moons ago. My favorite horror movie. The first, so top of the list is going to be The Exorcist or Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Okay.
The first horror movie I remember watching is A Nightmare on Elm Street ever,
Okay.
and I was probably between 7 and 8.
Mhm.
And I absolutely my mother figured it would traumatize me and I would have nightmares, and I fell in love instantly. The minute Freddy cut off his fingers when he was
Backfired.
tormenting Tina,
Yeah.
I was like, that is so fucking cool.
Yeah. You know, so it's like David with freaking whatchamacallit. Was it Chucky?
Child's Play, yeah.
So yeah, it's like when you watch, yeah. I feel like everybody, I don't know. I mean,
Look, the Child's Play movies are a lot of fun, but you
quack quack.
that's a New York Ripper thing, in
Oh,
case you
okay.
didn't know.
Talking about cruelty.
So anyway, one thing I never understood about Child's Play is why didn't somebody just fucking kick him? He's
Kick
like
the
2.5
shit out of him,
feet
yeah.
tall.
Dude, thank you. Like, this is a little bitch doll. Like, someone needs to
just
stomp this
beat the shit out
motherfucker.
of him.
Yeah.
Put him in a tote and shut it and throw it
Same
in
thing
the
with
fucking
Jigsaw.
fire.
Like if some little Jigsaw ass clown comes riding his tricycle, I'm gonna beat him to death with that tricycle.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's this big. Just fucking kick him.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I digress because I do love the Child's Play films. So that's no shade. I actually do. I have fun. Like Dolls
Yeah.
was great, and especially like the Puppet Master films, like
Mhm.
hmm
they're 2.5 inches tall. Why are you having so much trouble getting away from them?
Right.
Because they can sneak up on you, Jim.
Yeah, with their little like doll feet, like light on their feet.
Apart from the pinhead guy who's a huge doll of this size.
That's true. That's true.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, so 80s cheese, right?
hmm
So we're gonna
Man.
go round table. Ryne, I'll start with you. What is your favorite cheesy 80s movie?
Well, hang on. Before
No,
we do
no,
that,
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
no. Just 1 second. Can we qualify like cheese as a general thing? Right. What do you
Are we
consider?
talking Lindbergher? What? How do you qualify cheese?
Well. Okay. So you could say, like Hellraiser, but I don't find that cheesy.
This is subjective. So what you find cheesy, we may not. So you just be quiet.
Okay, mine's going to be Nightmare on Elm Street because it's fucking
Perfect.
cheesy as shit.
They do get that way. Anyway,
No,
Ryne,
the first one.
Oh, that's a good question. I really like Sleepaway Camp a lot.
fair enough. I
I
have
mean,
a question about Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
Have you seen Deadly Blessing?
No.
That came out a year before Sleepaway Camp and has a better and more effective twist that is
What?
along the same
No,
lines.
what? No, it doesn't.
Yes,
They're
it does.
They're totally different.
They are not.
The twist in Deadly Friend is the same as the
I
twist
didn't
in
say
Alien.
Deadly Friend. I said Deadly Blessing.
Oh, what the fuck's that? Nobody's heard of that.
Sharon Stone's first film. It's a Wes Craven movie about
Okay.
this group of friends that goes to an Amish community.
Okay.
Sounds riveting.
It is.
I'd watch
It's
it.
great.
I just watched Violet. It can't be worse than that.
Deadly Friend is so different, and
Okay.
everybody knows the best part of it is when Anne Ramsey's head explodes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
no, Sleepaway Camp was it for me. Like, I don't know. I love something about, well, first of all, I love Felissa Rose. Like, and I'm sure like if you guys have gone to enough conventions, I don't, have you guys met her before?
Yeah.
I've seen
Dude,
her. I have not had a chance to meet her yet.
She fucking rocks. She's so awesome, and like what a fucking icon and a legend, and like
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
You mean he?
true, fair enough,
What?
fair enough.
What I
But
mean?
yeah, so like I don't know, I love that, and it's something about like teenagers in the woods. It just
So-
screams campy and like cheesy 80s.
So what I think about Sleepaway Camp that I love even more than the twist, right? It's really fucked up all during the movie, especially with like the pedo cook and all this sort of stuff. But they legitimately actually have kids at
Yeah,
a summer camp. They're not all like 24.
right. 100%.
Absolutely. Okay, Mark,
Yes.
your favorite
so-
cheesy 80s film.
So I'm going to say this is cheesy, and I think this is, it's a very mainstream one, but I think it's the most quintessential 80s horror movie, and it is Evil Dead 2.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Mhm.
That's fair. That it is
Fucking
cheesy
great.
and it is a quintessential movie.
So good.
David, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go because with total cheese factor, I gotta go with Friday the 13th Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh God.
It's a shitty movie, but it's
I-
got so much fun qualities to
I
it.
love the boxing scene. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that alone right
It's
there.
genius.
Di- David, I thought you
Everything
were gonna
else
say
is garbage.
Ghoulies or something like that.
Ghoulies.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
All right, Jim, I
Or
guess you're up.
Critters is a good one too.
Critters is good.
So my favorite cheesy 80s film, and there's no easy way to say this, right? I loved am I? No, I'm not on mute, am I? Anyway, my
Nope.
computer
good.
said I was on mute. I don't know.
Unfortunately, not. No.
Fuck you. Anyway, so I had a thing. I'm sure you guys remember, but they had the terrible puppet films, right? Like Ghoulies, and
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love them.
Was it?
Right?
Is it
I
is
love
Bas-
those
is it
stupid little
Baskethead?
puppets that don't really move, and their
Yeah.
mouths don't really move when they're making
Mhm.
noise. You can
Well,
tell it's somebody's hand.
They're all
Yeah.
the post Gremlins ones, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, and they're the
Gremlins really
cheap
started
ones.
that.
They're not, but Troll.
All goblins.
Oh,
Yeah. Troll is
That's
my
so
favorite.
cheesy.
Like, and the fact that June Lockhart's daughter played a younger version of her in that film blew my fucking mind when I first saw it.
Yeah. So okay, can I do an so I'm not going to call this an honorable mention because it just missed the cutoff because it was 1991, not quite 80s. But because it has a tie-in to a movie that was from the 80s that's cheesy, and I'm going to say Ernest Scared Stupid because they used the same masks from fucking Killer Clowns from Outer Space to make the troll and Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yep.
I fucking love that they reused the masks. And when I was watching that, I was like, wait a minute, that looks super familiar. And then
I've
I think
never
I
seen
think
it.
David told me that. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's the same masks. Those are the same masks from the Killer Clowns
Killer
movies."
Clowns,
So
yeah.
I love Killer Clowns though, even though it is cheesy.
Oh, I do
That's
love
great.
Killer Clowns, but I've never seen any of the Ernest movies.
You don't need to see any of them except for Ernest Scared Stupid because it's the Halloween one and it has Eartha Kitt in it.
Oh my, I fucking love Eartha Kitt. She is a goddess. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, she's like a crazy like witch lady.
That seems fair because I have a friend that actually once catered one of her events when she
Yep.
lived somewhere down in South Florida or Southern California. I don't remember which, but like she put hot dogs on a sterling silver tray and fed them to all of her guests. Like,
Listen.
you've got to be
Amazing.
kidding. That's great.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so Mark, what movie do you want to talk about first?
First,
Yeah,
you mean second?
we haven't really talked about anything. We just gave our favorites.
Okay. I don't know. What do y'all want to talk about? Like 80s? Okay.
Any-
So let's say that. So the 80s was very much a time of like weird kids, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Weird kids. And I just recently rewatched The Pit. Has anybody
Oh,
seen The
Oh
Pit?
my god, I have
love
seen.
that
I
movie.
saw that
I
one
love it.
like a couple weeks ago. I was like, "What the fuck am I watching?"
Have you never seen it before?
No, I was scrolling through Facebook and I follow this one thing that gives out like random like diamonds in the rough kind of thing, and that was
Yeah.
on there, and I was like, "Well, the premise sounds good," and so I watched it on Tubi, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, there's a freaking montage of like playing like this do 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 music while this kid's going around killing these people and making them fall into this
Right.
pit. I was like, okay.
Well, I just think it's weird that his babysitter is giving him a bath
That was
after he's been
creepy.
perving on her all movie.
Yeah, and then that one chick where he like forces her to like take her top off so
Yeah.
he can take pictures of
Oh,
it. It's like fuck this kid, man.
but what I will say is that the actor that played that kid did it
Uh-huh.
perfectly because
Yeah.
you just felt that he was a little fucking pervert.
I mean, it makes the ending so much better.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Trollologs.
Yeah.
So before we go too
Trollop
far,
beats.
Kale Alistair is asking, what is a popular horror movie that everyone loves but you don't get the hype?
Oh man. I'll defer to someone else, but mine came to my mind immediately and I knew
Why are
it.
you deferring? Answer.
That is Midsommar.
Never seen it.
Midsummer is awful.
Is
I
it?
was like everyone loves
sorry.
it. No, I'm saying everyone
So-
loves it.
So
For the most
what I'll
part.
say, yeah, what I'll say is I think Hereditary is a modern classic,
Yeah.
and then Midsummer is a well shot but very boring and unlikable characters
Mhm.
just ripping off the Wicker Man.
Yep, I agree. I
Fair
agree.
enough.
I was not a fan, and I felt like I honestly feel that way about a lot, not all, but a lot of like A24 is like very hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
Well, art house type of things, I think, for me are pretty polarizing.
I remember
There-
telling.
there-
Go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
no, there's not many that I'm just like, oh, that was okay.
Right.
I'm usually like, I really like it or I really didn't like it.
Right. Well, that's kind of how I feel about what's the In a Violent Nature when that came out. Like very much, it was
I-
very one or the other.
I will
Yeah.
talk about that whenever we get to what we've watched.
All right, fair enough. But so you mentioned Hereditary. I told David not that David watched that fairly recently, and then like he messaged me and he was like at the beginning when the old girl gets her head, and he was like, "What the hell?" Like he's like that happened like immediately.
I love the
Do you know what?
So-
So, go ahead, Jim.
I was just gonna talk about my favorite meme on Facebook right now is cute couples costumes, and it's the girl on the post.
Do you know what's so brilliant about like kind of the marketing and because it was really set up and like that actress, I believe she lives in Tampa or something. She looked like don't get me wrong, she kind of looks a bit like crazy and weird, and it was almost set up in the marketing like she's going to be the main threat.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So when that happens, you're like, holy fuck, what's going to happen now?
And
Mhm.
honestly, that was the first time I feel like I had seen that since, like, kind of since Scream. Whenever Drew Barrymore, you thought was going to be the final girl, and then she gets axed immediately, and that like it's kind of like that taking that what you thought you knew away immediately. It has such a huge impact on a movie. So I
Yeah.
100% agree with
Yeah,
that.
if it's done well, right? Audience
Yes,
expectations,
right.
because sometimes it can go really bad. I won't talk about Star Wars movies because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but anyway.
Anyway, what were we talking about now? Oh, so I want to talk about a movie though that not many people ever talk about that shocked the hell out of me because my sister was a big Little House on the Prairie fan back in the 80s.
Mhm.
So, that's a wholesome show, right? You don't expect anything bad to happen, nothing, there's no real stakes because everybody's going to live happily ever after, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Can we
And
guess?
then in 1981,
Hang on, can we guess what it's going to be?
sure,
Is it April Fool's Day?
no,
Is it the Roger Corman one, Galaxy of Terror?
no.
Okay, I don't know. Go.
David, you want to guess?
No, I had
Little-
slightest
so-
idea.
Little House on
Ryne?
the Prairie is our only clue.
Yes.
I don't know.
So the oldest sister in Little House on the Prairie is played by Melissa Sue Anderson. And Melissa Sue Anderson had a thriving made-for-TV horror career. And this was one of her best known, at least to me, was Happy Birthday to Me.
Oh, that's what I meant. I didn't mean April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was very shocking for me as a kid, and this was part of the appeal of the movie, to see her play a villain
Mm-hmm.
in a horror movie.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good movie too.
It is, and if you rewatch it, it's absolutely cheesy and schlocky and not very scary, but
No,
it's still a fun
it's-
movie to watch.
and it's maybe got one of the most iconic VHS covers.
Yep, and
With
the
this-
twist, right? There's a twist in it that is quite surprising.
Okay.
And what I'd say about like the decade of the 80s is we'll never get it again. We kind of sort of had it recently, but the difference is in the 70s, you had to go to a major studio and try and, a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
In the 80s, VHS video, you could have a lower budget and just release it, and it's cheap, and if it's great, it's great. If it's not, as long as you kind of, the marketing's good,
Yeah.
the VHS cover is good,
Yep.
you're going to get some traction on that.
Man, I miss that so much.
sure.
Like going into a video store and just like going off of the cover art.
Right.
Yep.
So I think during the 90s that kind of went away.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000s, now it's streaming and everything else. So it's kind of gone back. Your iPhone can make a movie, right? Or your
Right.
phone.
That's how they
So
filmed
it's kind of gone
28
back.
years later. Was on the iPhone 16.
That's how they filmed or well, they didn't film it that way, but I'm saying what's the one with the hand?
Yeah.
Talk to Me. It was like some YouTubers that made the movie made the movie from Australia. Like
Yeah,
not a big budget film.
The entire film of 28 years later was filmed on an iPhone 16.
The new one?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, you know who I think is carrying the torch for all of us VHS loving fucking nerds, is I think fucking Tubi. God bless Tubi.
That's fair.
Yeah.
For like every shit movie, every like, hey, we're gonna have House Shark and fucking Ouija Shark and goddamn
DJ Shark Interrogator is genius. Do not sleep on that film.
I mean,
The
I own Ouija
Velocipaster.
Shark, so
the Velocipaster. That's another good one.
that's a
haven't seen
great
that one yet.
movie. That's a great movie.
It's like
So-
it's a pastor who
Yep.
who's trying to help a prostitute who's fighting off these like Velociraptor samurais or some shit. Like it's fucking.
Oh, it's just regular samurai. He's
Oh,
the one that
sorry.
he turns
Well,
into
yeah.
the Velociraptor.
Oh, he turns in. That's right. He turns into the Velociraptor and fights off the samurais.
we're gonna need to get a somebody to make a meme that says "In Tubi We Trust." Like a church.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Absolutely.
But there's also if they've had a few originals I thought that have been pretty decent.
If you bring up low lifes, I'm gonna scream.
Don't bring. I am gonna bring it up just so you can
So-
scream because I love that movie.
That's gonna tie directly into what KL Alistair mentioned, right? I don't understand why everybody loves that movie.
I thought it was fun. It was like
I
funny
thought
and it was
good.
campy and it had some good it had some good kills and I mean it was like at the end I was just kind of I don't want people were like, oh, it's unpredictable. Like I knew that was coming. You could kind of
Exactly.
see it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it was still a fun. I thought that was like a fun twist. I was like, okay, that's kind of fun. Like it was
I
just an
disagree.
That's fine.
Hey, Jim. Just some words of wisdom. Some people like movies that you don't because it's subjective.
That's fair. That's fair, Mark.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm the ultimate hater. I hate a lot of movies. We did so for September we did like religious horror
Yes.
for our
Yeah.
podcast episodes. We watched Immaculate, Nefarious, and we watched First Omen. And like I was recording these and we went back and I started editing them like a couple days later. And I almost texted David because I was like, this is just 3 episodes, actually like 2 episodes really, of me just shitting on these movies. Like absolutely just fucking from the top rope, fucking the people's elbow. Like I hate religious horror. And I was like, I'm just shitting on these movies. People are gonna be like, what happened to Ryne? Like, was he having a bad day? Because
you definitely shit all over that when we
I
talk
will
about
say-
the First Omen.
yeah.
The First Omen was passable. It wasn't a great movie. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of meh, right? And I'm
Yeah.
seeing that a lot more with newer filmmakers where things are just passable. Like they're not great.
Exactly.
I hate to say it, but it's sort of like the millennial curse.
But why do they
Because-
get like who's giving these people money? God damn it.
Like we'll talk about, like you have the First Omen,
Exorcist Believer.
Alien Romulus. No, Exorcist Believer was not meh. It was garbage.
No, that's what I mean.
heard it was
But they
garbage,
spent
yeah.
400 million on
Right. But
on
you
getting
get
it.
stuff like the First
Right.
Omen or Jesus Christ. I just totally lost my train of thought. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Don't say Alien
Oh,
Romulus. Watch
Alien
your mouth.
Romulus. Yes,
Watch
that's
your
exactly
mouth.
what I was going.
That
Right,
was
where
terrible.
the storyline is just okay.
Yeah.
So this is
Okay.
what we're doing now.
Do you know?
Man.
It was the same thing with the Crow remake, right? It's just this is lazy
Yeah.
fucking storytelling. It's just enough to be passable.
And why
So-
do I
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, okay, that's fair.
So here's one of the things about like social media and everything right now. I hate whenever I go on to Facebook or whatever and say, I didn't like this movie, or I really like this movie, and this is why. Da, da, da. Oh, you're just a hater. Oh,
And
you're
they're like, fuck you.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
just a fanboy. I'm like, no, I have actual reasons. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to go into a movie and not enjoy it. Like, who does
Who
that?
does that? Yeah.
So I'm going to go in and hope for a good movie. And if it's good, I'll say it's good. If it's okay, I'll say it's okay. If it's bad, I'll
Yeah.
subjectively say I didn't think it was good. And then you just get, oh, blah, 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 you're just a hater. Fuck off.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
the
would-
old man screaming at clouds. Get off
Oh,
my
no,
lawn.
Well, I mean, it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
I don't mind if somebody says, well, I understand the reasons why you didn't like it. This is the reasons why he did. But a lot of
Yeah.
it's just this, oh, you're just a hater.
Immediate, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit
Absolutely.
on you kind of thing.
I didn't tell you, David. I don't remember which review I did. I did a review where I said I didn't like a movie very much. And
Yeah.
like I just got like a private message from somebody and they were like, it said you didn't like this movie. And I was like, I thought it was a person because sometimes people will message you and be like, hey, tell me more about why you don't like it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's like, you didn't like this movie. And I was like, no, I didn't really care for it. And I got 3 words back from this person before I had to like block them. And it just said, suck my dick. And I was like,
you should have responded back and said, sorry, I don't have a straw.
but I was just like this took a turn. I'm
Wow,
like,
yeah.
God bless social
Okay.
media, like bringing
Yeah,
out
right.
like the biggest like just shitlords and
Yeah.
edgelords, or I'll like
Garbage
post a video
fucking
and they'll like everybody just comments Serbian film. I'm like, enough with fucking Serbian film.
That's
No one-
Rico or Vincenzo. That's always Rico or
here
Vincenzo.
we're gonna
Always.
go. Here we're gonna go again, Jim. Remember we had this same conversation before with a
We
past
did.
guest.
But let me preface this by saying we have a question from the audience. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
So Kale Alistair would like to know, what movie did you go into expecting to hate and it surprised the hell out of you?
Great question. And I have some ideas. but I have to think about them.
David?
I am thinking because I
Ryan?
usually don't go into a movie that I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna suck."
So okay, this is not because I think this movie is a 10 out of 10, but for me, it was Nefarious, which I recently watched because I hate religious horror so much. But Sean Patrick Flannery was so damn good in that movie
Yeah.
that I was just like, the movie went by so fast, and usually I'm like religious horror. It takes me like 3 days to get through. I'll watch like 30 minutes and then pause and think about like how bullshit religion is.
Right.
I'm like, God's not real. Pause. Like, go on. But like, I thought Sean Patrick Flannery was so good that I was just like, I was captivated by him.
Wow.
Well, sorry, what do you mean by God's not real?
I just don't. I would consider myself an atheist.
So where's your evidence that God's not real?
My
I'm only
evidence?
kidding. I'm
Ryan,
an
Oh, I
atheist.
was like-
Ryan, he's an
I was like, are we
atheist
doing
also,
this?
just so you know.
We can do this.
Like,
No,
all
no.
right.
That's a different podcast. Let's move on. Mark?
Yes. Okay, so I had a thought. Oh, sorry. Did you have a question?
Which one did
I'm
you think
asking
you
you
were
the
gonna
same
like?
question Ryan just answered.
Okay. So here's one where I thought I don't know how this is going to work.
Was
Right?
it Ratatouille?
No.
The rat's moving in with his hair. Didn't you get that?
I preferred it in Sausage Party where they're pulling him by the groin.
Oh, that was good too. Sorry, Mark. Go on.
No, that's
I'm
okay.
interested.
So like one of the seminal 80s slasher movies with a very distinctive character actor as the lead is Maniac.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I heard about the remaking Maniac with Elijah Wood, and who's a huge horror fan, by the way, and I met him the other,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but still, he's very, he is not Joe Spinell.
No, he looks like a child.
Yeah, and I'm like, how are they going to do this? So I went into that thinking, this can't work. This can't work. But it blew my mind how well it worked with doing the first person thing.
Mhm.
You don't really see him in it. I think they paid homage to some of the kills, but did their own. What a remake should do is not shit on the original, but not
Correct.
copy it,
Yes.
but add something new to it that's interesting. So that would be one where I had very low expectations, but I ended up loving it.
That's a good example.
David?
I mean, the most recent movie I can think of, because I've been watching a lot of older stuff lately, 80s stuff on Tubi, was the fucking movie, was it Dead Heat? Y'all have seen that one with Joe Piscopo?
Oh,
Like,
it's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
I was like, there's no way this movie can be good. And I watched it, and I'm like, you know what? It had a lot of fun shit in
Oh,
it.
it is. I only saw that like recently, like over the last like 4 or 5 years, and I'm a bit of a horror nerd, obviously, and a big 80s horror fan. I'm like, how have I never heard of this movie? It like
Right.
blew my mind. And then I watched it. I'm like, this like Treat Williams, fantastic, fantastic. Vincent Price is in it. I mean,
Yeah, he's in it. In just the scene where they're at the freaking Chinese place where all the dead animals are coming to life and shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
do,
what the
do,
fuck?
do you know what? It kind of reminded me a little bit of John Dies at the End. Have you
Oh
seen that?
yeah,
Haven't seen that one.
it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Oh,
but,
it's kind of absurdist horror.
Those books are amazing, though. I have read the John Dies at the End series, and they're great.
Yeah,
Jim,
but the movie's great
Oh,
too.
sorry, Jim. Tell KL that I finally finished Carnivores. It was great. I need to go to the next one. The bar one needs to go next.
Last call.
Yeah. I need
By
to
the
go to
way, he's watching the live, so you can tell him yourself.
Oh, nice. KL. I love Carnivores. It was gnarly. I'm gonna go on to the next one. I'll probably do the Willows third since that just came out, but I'm working my way through, man. Good work.
Yeah, right. Last call is so off the wall compared to Carnivores.
Good.
It's
Good.
fucking balls to the wall. It's great.
It took me so the Carnivores was the first, what I would consider my first like extreme horror that I've read, and so I didn't really know what I was getting into. Like, I'm like, how extreme? I mean, and you say that Last Call is even more
so
gnarly.
much more. So much
So
more.
this was a good gateway to like, okay,
Yeah.
let's go start with Carnivores, go on to the next. But yeah, it was great. I really
When you get
enjoyed
done
it.
with Carnivores, ask me. I have a book, and if you can get through it,
Mhm.
Nothing else will ever bother you again.
Is it the
It's
one that
called-
Victoria read?
You mean
Is it-
Veronica?
Or God, why do I keep saying that?
I don't know. Why do you keep calling her Victoria?
Because I have I know why, because I have a close family friend who they could probably be sisters, and her name is Victoria, and so I
Gotcha.
just sorry
But yes,
Veronica.
She did just post that.
Yeah,
Her
that's the one.
review of The Dark Side of Hell. If you
So-
can get through that book, you'll never have a problem again. I
Is it
guarantee.
long or is it a novella? Because I have a short attention span.
It's long, so I did the audiobook.
Okay, fair enough. I
It's
might
like
have to do
11
that.
hours.
Okay.
Damn.
So Veronica / Victoria also brought up
Damn it.
the recent Hellraiser. It's not really a remake, but the most recent one.
The one on Hulu or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
yeah.
But
So can I give my
She
answer
said she
first
loved it
about
and
the one that
everybody hates
surprised
it.
us?
yeah.
So I'm gonna go with The Cure for Wellness.
Hey, can we talk about the Hellraiser redo?
Shut up, Mark. It sounded boring as shit, right? And I expected it to be just
Sounded like you.
a total slow burn, but it was bizarre in all of the best ways possible. That movie is insane, and I loved every minute of it.
I've never
Anyway,
seen that
Mark,
one.
on
It's
to
gonna go on my
Hellraiser?
list though.
Yes. So what are I assume everyone's watched the most recent Hellraiser movie.
Have. Yes.
I have.
Veronica says that she loves it and everybody hates it. So what are your thoughts about that one?
I would love to see that version of Pinhead or the Hell Priest in a better movie.
Yeah.
Agreed. The character was great. I
Yes.
thought but
The,
yeah, it
the
was just
movie was just kind of That's how I felt.
it was
You
yeah,
hated
it's
the main
like
character, which is usually who you have to root for, right?
right.
Right.
And then the Cenobites looked like they were made out of fucking plastic.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a big problem with that.
Insane,
Like once again,
yeah.
like how who's giving these people money? Like hire some people. Like if you're gonna do CGI, do it fucking right. If you're gonna do practical effects, which I always prefer, like hire people that are fucking good and doesn't look like a mask. Like
I will give her though,
Yeah.
that last scene was beautiful. Where Goran Vinzik,
oh yeah.
that was beautiful. However, he always plays a good villain.
A good
But
villain?
He
That's
does.
a
He
bit of an
always plays the most.
oxymoron.
You love to hate him, right? Because he's so good at being so evil. But I hated what they did to his body, like that whole, that clockwork shit that was inside of him. It didn't make sense.
No. That's the part that I really liked. So whenever I first watched it, I'm like, okay, coming off like Hellraiser, Judgment, and all these shitty fucking poorly
Shitty
shot,
ass. Yeah.
God.
poorly acted pieces of shit. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. But the farther I got away from it afterwards, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, no, this actually has a lot of the same problems that they do, with annoying characters doing stupid things
Yes.
Mhm.
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
And that's my problem. Again, I think it's shot very well. I like Jamie Clayton. I thought the other Cenobites were unremarkable and
Mhm.
bizarrely like useless. Like the one that's like this, like what the fuck are you gonna do to me? You gonna
Right.
breathe on me or something? Um, I did like aspects of it, but again, man.
Yeah, I agree. It was lazy storytelling, but I do want to see Jamie Clayton's Hell Priest in a better vehicle. Like I
Well,
loved the actress.
I want to see Ashley Lawrence become Pinhead like she did in the comics, because
That
I
would be
think that would be
amazing.
awesome.
That would be great.
Jim, your comment about I want to see that character in a better movie. That's how I feel about the entire fucking Terrifier series.
Right? I
I
agree.
want
Yes.
Art the Clown to be in a movie with an actual goddamn story.
But Ryan,
Right.
how are we going to talk to these people at Nightmare Weekend? Because that's all that's there is the cast from Terrifier 3.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm gonna go talk. I'm gonna go talk to the people that were in Hocus Pocus. I'm gonna go talk to Vanessa Shaw.
I mean, I'm going to go talk to her about The Hills Have Eyes because that was the
Well,
best film she's been in.
That's true, but me being like the baby here of the group,
I'm
Hocus
really
Pocus.
excited about
that
seeing
was
George Wendt.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be good too.
George Wendt and William Catt. I'm excited.
And what's his name
Nice.
from? Was it not Dick Warlock? Who? Michael Myers from Resurrection.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh God.
Oh, by the way, can we all come to a conclusion that Dick Warlock is the best name ever made?
That's a good one.
I second that.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
I've yet to meet one, but I'll give you that. That's a good name.
It is. God, that movie got a 3.9. Ouch.
The movie was
Can you blame
garbage,
it?
dude.
Brad Lorre.
Ah,
He's gonna be there, so I'll probably have
that's
him.
the one where we had Kung Fu Busta Rhymes, right?
Busta
You're
Rhymes, yep.
goddamn right, it is.
Okay, just checking.
Trick or
That's why.
treat,
That's why I
like-
sent that meme in the group that was like, whenever you think you have a bad idea, just remember that someone greenlit Kung Fu
Right.
Busta Rhymes in a movie. Okay, I have a question for everybody. What
Okay.
is your like of all like the series? So you can do like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare. What's your one that like is your favorite, and what one do you absolutely hate, or if you don't like one? I'm just curious of like of the big ones. You can do Saw. It can be.
Sure.
I mean, any of the
Okay.
series. I'm curious.
David?
I'm not. I know I'm not really a big fan of the Jaws. Like the first one is what it is, but everything after that was.
Jim,
garbage.
can you disconnect David?
Yes, yes, I'm gonna mute him
No,
right
I
now.
just told you. The first one is good.
The second David got muted.
Now I gotta ask him to unmute.
You got to unmute yourself now, David. For
Yeah,
real.
you have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you.
There we go.
I can just
Oh,
I can
damn,
just cut your
fuck.
mic.
Hey, listen, Jaws
Fade to
1,
black.
yes, yeah,
Right.
Jaws 1 was amazing. You're right. Jaws 2, I thought was like passable. They got pretty bad after that.
I just recently we just watched the first three like a week ago because we were watching the first one with my son,
Yeah.
and like the second one I was like, man, this movie sucks. There's like 2 people that get killed and it's not even that good, and everybody knows the third one's trash.
And that one woman that keeps screaming the whole fucking movie.
I think Jaws 2 is low key one of the best shark movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now that's a very
the bar
low
is the bar is low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Shark
bar.
movies.
but I think it's good. I like the kind of concept of, you know, they're on an island, so they're not
Yeah.
like driving around. So what they do is they go out, and yeah, that woman screaming is really annoying now. And I wish
Yeah.
she got.
Do you know, Mark, you know what my favorite Jaws sequel is?
Jaws of
One-
Revenge.
The one with Michael
The
Caine.
Last Shark.
Talking about 80s cheese.
Yes.
All right, so David's got Jaws. All right, what about
Yep.
you, Mark? What's your or sorry, David, what's your you said you didn't like that one. What's your favorite series?
Oh, what's my favorite series? I mean, I got to go with Halloween, even though there's a lot of shit sequels. I
There
still
are.
enjoy them for what they are.
Fair
I'm there
enough.
to see Michael Myers kill people. I don't give a
That's fair.
fuck, you know.
That's fair. All right, Mark, what do you got?
Are we just looking at
Your favorite and your least favorite.
like just the series themselves?
Overall, from
The
start
big
to
ones,
finish,
yeah.
got to include the shitty ones and the good ones.
So I think the most consistently good major horror series is Phantasm. I
Oh
love
my god.
all of those movies. I love all of those movies.
All right.
The worst one is, you know, you could
This
say
is why
like,
nobody takes you seriously, Mark.
okay, blah blah blah. Okay, I mean, you could kind of go left field and say Amityville, because there's 8,000 Amityville movies.
Okay.
And there's
Which are-
Amityville
but-
Bukkake as a book if you're interested in that sort of thing.
But
What,
but
did you
I'll
say
say
Amityville
Amityville
Bukkake?
Bukkake.
That's an
Jesus.
extreme. That's
Oh
an
my-
extreme splatter
Oh,
punk
oh, yeah.
book. Yes,
Is
But-
it just ghosts jizzing on people?
it says at the bottom that's not blood.
Oh my god.
Oh.
All right. We've oh Jesus.
See, Veronica knows. She just put a bunch of raindrops in there. She knows.
If you build it, they will come. Literally.
Okay.
All right. Ryne,
Ryan, what about you?
So Amityville. Okay. All right, Jim. Okay. For me, my least favorite is Children of the Corn. That shit is terrible.
Agreed.
that's just kind of like the Amityville one, though, right? I mean, there's
It's-
just so
yeah.
many.
There's so many, and they are
Shitty
all
fucking-
bad.
Yeah.
And my
but what I-
favorite. Go ahead. I'm gonna think about it for a second. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say, but even the first Children of the Corn isn't that great. So I mean,
Right. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like-
Like when the
Right.
one that's supposed to be like the OG, the original. That's
Right, yeah.
like when that one
Are you
sucks. It's
kidding?
not,
Malachi was terrifying.
once again, this was a kid that I would have punted.
Right.
No. That's Isaac.
the ginger guy.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
okay?
talking about
Sorry,
the ginger.
sorry.
He was terrifying.
Major
I don't even
kid,
care
yeah.
enough to know the characters' names. They're all dead to me. And my favorite, I'm trying to think like start to finish. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said Halloween also. But as I've started watching more of the movies, And I think it's Friday the 13th for me. Even the cheesy ones, even fucking Jason X is
Love
fucking
it.
like
Love it.
tons
Love
of
that movie,
fun.
yeah.
And I'm like whenever he froze old girl's face and then like smashed it on the
Smashes
table,
her-
like
oh
that's
my
a
God.
like yes,
That-
the dialogue was awful. The entire
The
premise was just
CGI was awful.
My
Oh,
my
it's bad.
favorite part of that whole movie is when the chick is trying to get an A on her midterm. That was great.
well,
So-
and even
Twisting his nipples with the prongs for
Yes.
a barbecue.
well,
So-
even and
So Jim will agree with me that Freddy versus Jason
It's
is
dog shit. Yes.
is
Rebecca,
maybe
Rebecca,
one of
where's
the-
Rebecca? I need Rebecca here
One of the-
immediately. She will
one
defend
of
my
the
honor.
best sequels in either franchise.
It's
I fucking
garbage,
love
Mark,
Freddy
and I'm
versus
not going to
Jason.
go anywhere beyond that. It's
Mark,
garbage.
Mark. I did a TikTok, and me and David were arguing on Friday the 13th about which was the best one. I
Yes.
said Freddy versus Jason. He said number 3, and everyone shit on me.
That's
No,
right.
no, I love it.
As they should.
So
It's a guilty pleasure for sure.
for
7
Friday
is the best.
Friday
After
13th,
Friday
I
the
would say
13th.
7, and then Freddy versus Jason.
He's got asthma. Okay, which one did you have me watch, Jim? The one with the telekinesis
That's
girl?
7.
Yeah,
7.
Not 7. Love it.
that was fun, I will admit.
Mm-hmm.
And they cut that to like fucking shit.
So
There was
somebody,
John Carl Beekler, right?
Yeah.
somebody in our group, Jim, was it Film Critter posted like the uncut version with like the extended kills for that one?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice.
I haven't
I'll be
seen
back in a
it
second.
yet, but I need to watch it. I need to go back.
They were,
and look
I guess
for
they
that
were a
one.
little grainy, but I need to go back and watch anyway. So
That's
yeah,
okay, I don't mind.
so for me, I'd probably say Friday the 13th is the most consistent and my favorite, and then what the Children of the Corn that they can erase that from the archives.
So
Yeah.
for my favorite, I have to go with Nightmare on Elm Street. I love every single one of them.
They're so
except the
good.
remake. That's the only one I cannot stand in the entire series.
The one where he looks like a freaking weird gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
different.
And I
actor,
like what's
yeah.
his name, like
Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie. Yeah, I like him, but like
Yeah.
I thought that like his mannerisms of being Freddy was good, but I just felt like the makeup was so bad.
And
was
it was a
awful.
hindrance to him, right? Because you couldn't understand a fucking thing he was saying.
Yeah, it sounded like he had marbles in his mouth.
Right, exactly. But I don't blame him for that. But that movie is awful.
It is.
But that is my favorite series because I love every single one of them. I don't care how garbage they get, including Freddy's Dead.
Which one's your favorite? I think Dream Warriors is my favorite.
So I would normally say 3. However, 1994's The New Nightmare. That is
a
how
great
you
one.
do a meta slasher, right?
That one's great.
I
It
love
was
that one.
perfection, and it should have reinvigorated the entire series. I
Agreed.
don't know why it bombed so bad at the box office. If you put that out now with an A24 label on it, it would be a huge hit.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
that'd be a TikTok creator's wet dream.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, and what's your least favorite?
That's what I got to think about because I love slashers. I don't care how horrible they are. I even love the first 3 Amityville movies.
You know what
I
other
would
one I think it like doesn't get enough hate, not enough love. One that doesn't get enough hate is Saw.
So okay, that's probably the one I have to go with because I've only seen
Yeah.
3 of them, right? I hated the first movie up until the twist at the end.
Okay.
I thought it was too low budget, the acting was terrible, and none of it made any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've not seen anything except the next 2, and I don't remember a thing about them. Like I know there's one scene where I think Shawnee Smith stuffs her hand into
And
a
needles.
pile of knives. Yeah, needles. Or
Needles.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like, other than making my butthole pucker when they hurt people, there's no redeeming qualities to those movies.
It's like
No,
one and 2 I thought were okay, and then they kind of went downhill for me.
Well, everything after the third one, like I don't even remember how many sequels they are, but they're
There's
all the
so many.
same.
They're at
They're all
11
the
now.
same.
Yeah.
Like there's
And
you
like
can't keep up with the
how are you going to
story.
keep bringing back a dead character who died in part 4?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like they
Yeah.
just keep doing like flashbacks, and they're like, "Oh, this is what happened before the first one,"
Mhm.
and all this shit is one direction they went.
Yeah, but you know what? Shawnee Smith is going to be 60 years old, and they're going to be doing flashbacks.
right.
she's gonna be at Mad Monster in Atlanta, I think.
She's going to do Spookala.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Spookala, Mark.
Well, you know what? I almost did a Frank Drebin.
Explain.
Like, no, because I have this wireless microphone. I went to the bathroom
Oh.
and a naked
oh,
gun.
the bathroom. Got it.
Oh, you bring it in there with you?
Yeah.
Who does number 2 work for?
So look at this beer that I got, Jim. Can you see it?
No, I can't
no,
because
no,
all I see is your background.
Yeah, let
Put
me
it
get
in
rid
front
of
of
this
you.
background.
Put it in front of
What?
you.
Oh.
Put it in front of you. What is that? Oh, I like it. How is it?
Very cool.
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet.
Please take a sip and let us know. That looks awesome. And then I need you to send me the link where you bought it.
Total Wine.
Oh
have a
man,
clue?
I'm so there. I drive by one every day to work.
Total
Yeah,
Wine
it's
is.
called Nightmare Fuel.
I see that.
Oh, is it by Abomination Brewing? No,
No idea.
I'm a big craft beer guy.
Well, it says Mason Ale Works.
Mason Ale Works. There's a brewery in Atlanta called Pontoon Brewing, and they did a beer called Nightmare Fuel, and it was like some kind of fruited Berliner Weiss. It was like blood red. It was pretty cool.
What is the flavoring on that one there, Mark?
I don't fucking know. I just bought it.
I don't
just bought it
fucking
for the
know.
can. I don't know. We'll see. Let's pour this.
Well, it's not red because it looks like urine.
It looks like an IPA.
No, it is an IPA.
Yeah,
But let's see.
the can is gnarly though. The can
That's
looks
a
cool.
nice
Yeah,
pour there,
awesome.
Mark.
Well, I am from Northern Ireland. Thank you. It's got a hoppy smell.
You're getting hops. Okay, good.
Hop, but citrus.
I heard
Citrus
they
and
put
hop.
more hops in the recipe.
Yeah, we all love a good can, Veronica.
David, you gotta tell my goddaughter to zip it. I hear that baby.
I know. I can hear in the back screaming.
How are we going to monetize this, Jim, with a baby screaming in the background?
You got me. We got to get
No,
better quality guests, apparently.
This is actually
Damn.
From
Okay,
now on on our submission form, it's going to say, "Do you have children? Yes or no." It's okay though because my dog has been going crazy today, so I get it.
So this is
happens.
actually very, very tasty. It's not bitter. It's very smooth for an IPA, and I'd recommend it.
I'm also drinking an IPA.
It was $7 for this, but you know.
Yeah, I'm drinking an IPA as well. This is actually it's a triple IPA, 10%.
Is that sponsored by the movie Tarot?
I don't think so, but it is called the Three of Cups.
That's why I asked the question.
That was also my #1 worst movie of 2024 was Tarot.
I don't know if that's number one.
That thing was hot garbage. I didn't see Trap yet, but
I don't disagree. So I just watched Trap today. We'll get to that. Let's talk about Season of the Witch.
Halloween 3.
Yeah, Mark. Thoughts on
An
Halloween 3?
absolute classic.
I agree.
Written by Nigel Neal, who wrote the Quatermass movies, the Stone Tapes. Absolute legend, but he had to take his name off it because they changed so much. But any movie with Tom Atkins in it is already like going to be at least a 7 out of 10.
You think so?
Yep.
I think it gets
Name me a bad Tom Atkins movie. Go.
I gotta look up his discography or his filmography. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm thinking about music.
He might be a singer too. I mean,
He might be. He's done pretty much everything.
Do it at all.
Okay, let's see here. What do you got here? What do you got?
Oh, I
for me?
forgot about that one. Yeah, he was in the New Kids.
God, he's 100. Not really, but he's old.
Oh
He's
yeah.
not looking...
Night of the Creeps.
All right, Night of the Creep, Maniac Cop, Fog, like banger. My Bloody
Well, I
Valentine,
can
banger.
hold against him that he's been in a Barbara Streisand movie because I hate that woman.
Drive Angry.
The remake of My Bloody Valentine.
That was Escape to New York. Or Escape from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you might be onto something.
And of course, my favorite, The Ninth Configuration. Jim.
Ugh.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
So
he was in Lethal Weapon.
No. I swear to God, Ryan, look up The Ninth Configuration and look at the cast and see how many people you recognize.
All right.
And
I'll start quizzing you. You ready?
Me?
We're gonna talk about Stacy Keach.
Oh, Stacy Keach, great.
Oh yeah.
Scott Wilson.
Nice.
Scott Wilson. Oh yeah.
Jason Miller.
Robert Loggia.
Loja.
That's spelled R.
That's
Robert
R
Loggia.
as in Robert
Loggia.
Loggia.
The fact that we all get Family Guy jokes is great.
Yes. Yeah, so
I
it's
don't
got a
know
ton of
who
people.
William Lucking is though.
You want to know a funny? Okay, here's something funny. So I'm always that person whenever a film comes on and they're showing the credits and it's like, oh, so and so, and I'm like, oh, so and so, he's in this. So I used to do that all the time. And my wife is like not a movie person; she doesn't remember anything. And one
Yep.
day we're watching a movie, and I'm like, oh, like Heath Ledger's in this, and she sees like the artistic director. It's like Sam Williamson, and she goes, oh, Sam Williamson's in this. I'm on my phone. I'm like, who the fuck is Sam Williamson? And she's like, I just did that. I don't know who that is. I just said that because it was on the screen. I was being an asshole. And so now every single time that a movie comes on, she just starts saying names from the credits. And I'm like, I fucking hate you.
But it's the same with my wife. Like, I'm like, hey, do you want to go see this movie? And she's like, or do you want to see this movie? Okay, what's it about? And I'm like, well, the director is this, and the actor is that.
Yeah, and she's like, this means nothing to
I have no
me.
fucking idea.
Exactly,
who these
yeah.
people are.
Yeah, unless I tell her like Brad Pitt's in this, there's like a real mainstream. She's like, you're speaking Spanish to me. I don't know what you're. I'm whatever. Fine. I'm just gonna walk out in traffic. Good night.
Yeah.
So anyway, the ninth configuration is the actual Exorcist 2 sequel that should have been. They have it was written and directed by Blatty. It was his first direction.
Okay.
And it's got a lot in common with Exorcist 3, but it has a character from the original Exorcist in it. And it's just it's more of a comedy thriller revenge, and Hollywood kind of copied that. I'm not going to spoil it, but there was huh?
What?
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
Looks like
What?
it's on Tubi.
All right. Hey, you're damn right it is. Tubi. And Tubi we trust.
That's right.
Tubi's
In
got
Tubi
that.
we trust. So I want to talk about one of my favorite horror comedies from the 80s, and that is
The Lost
Stuff.
Boys.
That's your favorite, not mine.
Oh, my bad.
Yep.
New York Ripper.
I'm talking about The Stuff.
Oh,
The
the
Stuff.
stuff. That's a
Yes.
good one.
I absolutely love that
That
movie.
is a good one.
So Larry Cohen, who's behind the stuff, there's a documentary about him called King Cohen, and you probably don't realize, like, you probably do, I don't know, but I'm a bit of a nerd, that he made so many movies and written so many movies.
Yes.
Like Cue the Winged Serpent, The Stuff. He did that phone booth with Colin Farrell.
Oh,
He wrote
yeah.
that. Yeah. He would just sit down and write. And he was one of the first people that did kind of the guerrilla filmmaking, where he wouldn't get like permits or anything. He would just go out and start filming around.
Nice.
Is the stuff Paul Sorvino and
No.
and Garrett Morris?
Yes. And Michael Moriarty.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And Chocolate Chip Charlie.
I get yelled at every time I put that movie on when I'm at home.
Yeah.
Stuff is great.
I love it.
I
Personally.
loved it too, yeah. I only seen it one time, but I loved it.
You've only seen it one time?
Yeah.
looks-
I mean, I had never heard of it until I watched it probably
Ryne,
2 or
Ryne,
3
yeah.
years ago.
Who is that crawling on the ground behind you?
That's my wife. You don't have to crawl. You can just go. It's fine. They can see you.
God,
Hey,
it's
Melissa.
I was just like, Ryan, I think somebody's breaking into your room.
no. I thought it was like a found footage exorcism.
It was.
That was a little creepy.
Is she going to be crawling on the walls?
Just like blur my background. My bad. I was looking at my screen and I didn't think that you could see, so I was like, all right, whatever. It's
we
okay.
saw.
They were at the pool.
That's okay. No worries. So, Mark, what do you want to talk about?
I kind of, and maybe we can circle back to the 80s stuff, but I watched some things.
Circle back. We're talking about 80s.
No, I know, but I want to, well, okay, but I want to talk about some things I watched this week, and then we
You
can
haven't
circle back.
gotten there yet.
No, well, one of them's in the 80s. Does that count?
No.
Okay, so how about John Carpenter?
Love him. What do you want to know?
I think he absolutely dominated.
Yeah, except for the
80s.
Apocalypse trilogy, which doesn't exist.
Oh my
No,
god,
there-
Jim, it exists.
It does not exist.
Thank you, Ryne.
Mm.
It does
Yes.
not exist. Do you want to know why it doesn't exist, Ryan?
Because
me.
because you don't understand how trilogies work.
I absolutely understand how trilogies work, but based on your mark and John Carpenter's reasoning or rationale,
Okay.
Yeah,
we
the guy
can
that
now
made
say that Blade, Twilight, and Vampire Suck are a trilogy because they are thematically the same because they're all about vampires.
were they all made by the same person, Jim?
Doesn't matter if they were or not. That was not
No,
part
no,
of
no,
it.
no. That's one of the bedrocks of it.
No, it is absolutely not.
Uh, uh, Provide evidence for that.
I don't have to.
Exactly.
I love John Carpenter.
I don't have
John
any
Car-
problem with John Carpenter. I just do not think that that's a franchise.
he,
That is a trilogy.
he was the only person that I met at a convention that I was tongue tied
Oh,
about.
yeah.
I
I
can
was
see
just
that.
like, whoa, 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 I like your movies.
So
You
far,
make
I've been
good
tongue-tied
stuff.
around. So far, I've been tongue-tied around one person, and that was Brad Dourif.
Oh,
Nice.
Brad.
From Blade? Oh no, from Chucky.
Chucky, yeah.
Chucky,
You're thinking of
Alien.
Steven
Exorcist
Dorff.
3.
I was thinking what's the guy's name from Blade?
Steven
Steven
Dorff.
Dorff?
Steven Dorff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Not I mean, it's funny too because he was sitting right next to Alex Vincent, and I had no problem chatting with Alex Vincent, not knowing who he was off the top of my head. Then I get up to Brad Dourif, and I cannot talk. Like,
You're so weak, Jim. You're so
I
weak.
was. You have no idea.
Oh,
But
Lord.
I still feel justified because when my partner Ray met Kathy and Jimmy, all he could say to her was, "You're so pretty."
That sounds like that's what happened. So I'm a big baseball fan. I'm named after Ryne Sandberg, who played for the Chicago Cubs. And in 2016, when the Cubs won the World Series, I went to a National League Championship game series, and I'm standing there in Wrigley Field, and I get a tap on the shoulder, and he says, "Nice jersey." I'm wearing a Sandberg jersey. I turn around, it's Ryne Sandberg. That was what you just explained was how that entire interaction went down. I was like, "Oh, you play baseball real good." And I was like, and I didn't even tell him I'm named after you. Like we had a whole conversation and none of that came up. And I was just like, God, I am such an idiot.
I be baseball fan like
Yeah,
you.
yes. It was like I've never spoken before. It was literally I just like, and then like I called my wife and she was like, "Well, did you tell me you were named after him?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "You're such an idiot." And I was like, I know.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, everybody gets gobsmacked.
But when you go to these conventions and you get whatever 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes at these people's tables, like the first thing that comes to my mind most of the time, I'm like playing in my head. I'm like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say to Neve Campbell? Like, I'm going to talk to her in 20 seconds. And then I'm just like, "I loved you in Scream." Like, are you
You're
kidding
so
me
good.
right now? Like every
I'll tell you
other freaking fat white guy has said the same thing to Neve Campbell.
Listen.
You're real pretty.
We went to Spooky Empire one year, and we went on a Friday, right? We went for the whole weekend. We went on Friday, and we walked into the autograph room, and literally we walked in, and Jennifer Rubins beelined it to us, and I went, "Hi," and she just started talking with us, right? And finally, after like 20 minutes, I'm like, "Can we go back to your table so I can get your autograph?"
Yeah.
That's
So we go
awesome.
back there, right? And we're looking at all of her pictures, and because they did a whole big Dream Warriors group that year. And she's like, "Okay, well, what picture do you want?" And she shows me all of her Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. I'm like, "I don't want any of that." She's like, "What?" I said, "I
Because
want
James and
this.
Edgelord.
I want this one." And she's like, "What?" And it was a picture of her from the movie Bad Dreams. And I'm like, nobody knows about this film, and it's so great. And she's like, "Yeah, and the lighting was great. I looked so good in that movie." I'm like, "You did. It was great. I loved it." But she was so awesome to talk to, and I had no problem talking to her. Where he's like, "Well, you're not going to be able to talk to Heather Langenkamp if you ever see her." I had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really weird how like the ones that I feel like I'm gonna be most nervous. Like I thought I'd be nervous talking to Michael Bain, and I was like, he was an interesting guy. Like he was a pretty funny guy. First of all,
super nice.
yeah. Well, first of all, he didn't even make it to the aliens panel, which like I'm a little bit like, come on, Michael. Like you couldn't even make it to the aliens panel. You had everyone else there pretty much except for
But
like
him.
Sigourney, and you didn't show up. Like what? Like that was disappointing. But I'm trying to think I'm trying to think who was the nicest, like who's the person you talked to that you were like, you know what, they were the most down to earth, kind celebrity that you talked to.
Dee Wallace.
Okay, that's a good one. For me, it was oh god, what is her name from the new Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah, the mother.
Allison?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
it?
God damn it.
You
Hold
only
on.
had her sign a cheese grater for you, buddy.
I did have her sign a cheese grater.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I watched her first on Vikings, and I loved her on Vikings.
Alyssa Sutherland.
Yes, she was
Yeah.
absolutely the sweetest thing. Like, she was
She
so
was,
nice.
Yeah.
And like I was like, hey, I was like, at any point in your career did you ever think you'd be signing bloody cheese graters? And she was like, no, I did not have that on my bingo card. And I'm glad I talked to her, because the next day she actually got sick at our convention and had to leave early. But she was super nice. I really enjoyed talking to her.
When I got to meet the last time that Spooky came in, was it Spooky? Yeah, it had to be Spooky because Heather Langenkamp was there, and I didn't go see her that time. I went and saw Amanda Weiss instead, and like she was awesome to talk to.
Mhm.
When I sat there and we were talking because the guy in front of her was telling her how great it was to watch her movies and blah blah blah, and I got up there and I said, it's really, we had this whole conversation about how in the 80s it was a different time, and what parents would find acceptable
Yes.
for you to watch was so different from what people would find acceptable now.
100%.
So we had an entire like 5-minute conversation about that, and she was so awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. Like, who else? We met a lot of. You know who I met? David and I both met him, and I was like, this guy's off his friggin' rocker. Lance Hendrickson. Holy good lord!
Yeah,
I met him like
not
2 years ago. And like,
Take it away, David.
Just think about his acting career, right? And incredible from what, like Omen 2 and like all the way back.
Yeah,
And,
Terminator, Near Dark.
oh yeah, Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead, yeah.
And he was illiterate, right? So he had to have somebody read the script to him so he could learn it.
Oh,
Really,
okay.
I didn't know he had reading issues.
No, he was totally illiterate.
I didn't
Like,
know
he
that.
never learned
I didn't
how
know
to
that
read.
either.
Yeah.
Very cool. Huh. Yeah, no,
Terminator.
he was super cool to talk to, but like we saw him do a panel afterwards, and like they'd be talking about one thing and he would just trail off into something completely
Oh, well,
different.
I
and,
mean,
like,
Like, he's probably what, 80 now?
oh yeah, he's up
And
there. Yeah.
and he's very bandy legged. Like, we
Yes.
we walk past him walking down, like it looks painful for you to walk, my dude.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
The,
he was
So
interesting.
who's the worst experience you had?
well, hang on. Let me talk about some of the good
Nobody cares,
experiences
Mark.
Shut up. So one that was kind of almost surprising. It was one of my first conventions. I met Ruggero Deodato and Francesco Chiardi and what's his name? Carl York from Cannibal Holocaust. And what's so funny is that Deodato doesn't speak English, so he had his granddaughter there translating for him. But he was
Nice.
like so funny, like it was just like incredible. Gary Clark from Day of the Dead. I met like the Day of the Dead panel, and unfortunately he's passed away too. He was like I'm pretty introverted, like, but he was so nice. He was like one of the nicest people I've ever met at a convention. Who else, Jim?
I'm trying to think. Like, did we have? I don't know if I've had a bad experience necessarily. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
bad, but just uncomfortable.
um,
So like Nikki Corey, I'm gonna be perfectly blunt, was not a nice. He wasn't an overly friendly person, and almost kind of standoffish, right?
David's got a good one.
Unless you were a 20-year-old
Uh-huh.
girl in tight jeans, right? He was great to them, but a fat white guy walks up to him, he didn't want to have anything to do with me. And he was so offended that I asked for change from the 50 I gave him.
Jeez.
Anyway,
I'll just run through this.
David, you know who I'm talking about?
wait. Let's
As-
see David's story.
As a shitty person or a good one?
Yeah, the one that you got signed for your sister.
Oh, fucking A. Jenna Jameson? Ugh. Because my sister had her book, and she's like, "Will you get this signed?" And I was like, "Fine." And then, like, when I was up there, I was like, "God, I hope I don't get like some sort of hepatitis A through Z kind of shit." Like,
Also, can we talk about the fact that she was like $80 or something for an autograph?
yeah, her shit was expensive. And then she was like, "Oh, you get a picture too." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And she's like, "No, you do. Come on, let's get a picture." And I was like, "Ah." She put her arm around me. I was like, "Ugh." I was
That
like,
was a
"Oh,
funny one.
gross, gross."
Another good one, another good experience we had was freaking what's his name? Officer Doofy from Scary Movie.
Oh,
Yeah, he
yeah?
was cool though.
Dude, he was super nice. He had his whole get up on from Scary Movie, and he had the vacuum and like took a picture and like
I don't
he
know what
signed
you're
Mhm.
talking about.
he signed a picture and was like two Sinister Scripts podcast. He was super nice.
He was
I,
awesome,
I've
dude.
I've seen one scary movie.
Yeah, he was in the first one. That's the only one you need
Yeah.
to know. He was the
Oh.
cop.
I saw it once like 30 years ago.
All right, well let's get back to 80s. I have a movie I want to talk about.
Hey, hang on, Mark's got some.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
All right.
just have one more person that I recently met who is so nice, and it's Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, I
I
met him
haven't
too.
met him
He
yet,
was
but
super
I
nice.
hear that a lot.
He just has so much time for everyone, which is a good and a bad thing, right? Because
Yep.
the lines are long.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But yeah, he was so nice.
He
The
was
whole
super nice.
that's like the only reason that I went to Mad Monster in Atlanta, because it was Nev, Lee Waddle, Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, and Skeet they were all there. So we got all like, and by far Matthew's line was the longest. I think because of the Five Nights at Freddy's
Five Nights at
was so
Freddy's,
recent.
It was definitely.
And Jamie Kennedy, I'm like, Jamie, what did you have before you came in here, bud? You're flying high right now, bro.
And you get to see these celebrities and like Skeet. I'm like, how are you still this handsome?
Yeah.
And you're like probably almost 60 by now, or
Yep.
55.
He's
Like,
our age, Mark.
You know who else was super super kind was Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Mhm. He was
And-
nice.
So
So
we were at the bar in the hotel, and he was like, I was literally like, I waved him down, and I was like, Kim, and he gave me the whole like 1 minute, and I was like, yeah, right, this guy's not going to come over, and he walks right over, and I asked him about a movie. He was in a show called oh God, what was it called? It's like Blue
Yeah,
Blood. It was a Canadian crime drama after Sons of Anarchy. It was kind of like basically Canadian Sopranos kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, are they going to do another season of this? And he's like, you know what? You're the first person that's asked me about this. He's like, we were going to film it, and then COVID hit, and then it just got shut down, and we didn't have it just never got kicked back up. A lot of projects got abandoned during COVID because of just all the rules and regulations, and shooting in Canada was a real challenge. And he was like, hey Tig, and he looked over and he was like, who the hell is yelling my Sons of Anarchy character name at me? But he was super super nice and came over and was very nice and talked to us for a bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, are we going back to 80s now? Because I got a movie.
Yeah, I don't know where Mark went, but sure, we can do that. What movie you want to talk about?
Alligator from 1980 with Robert Forster.
I've not seen it.
That's a good one.
Dude, man, it's so awesome. Like the epitome of like alligators in the sewers. Such a the timeless tale of that. Like we all heard the rumors.
Flushing
Right?
an alligator down the toilet. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was so perfect, and it was so amazing. And there's some dialogue in there that is just absolutely 80s, like
Right.
between him and the herpetology? Is that what you
Herpetologist,
study, amphibians?
Herpetology.
Yeah, like there was some great dialogue in there that was 100% 80s and inappropriate for children.
Mhm.
So there's one movie that I love and that doesn't get talked about enough, and it's not a comedy, but it's 1979's The Prophecy.
That's a good one too.
I
haven't seen
is that Christopher Walken?
No,
No.
totally different movie.
Okay.
This is a creature feature with Talia
Oh
Shire.
yeah, with the weird bear thing.
Yes, that
Yeah, I've
bear
seen that one,
scared
yeah.
the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna stab you
that
in
was a fuck that
the
movie.
face with a soldering iron if you say it again.
Right?
Come kids with the smooching.
It's great. I absolutely adore it. But anyway, let's go back to cheese.
So okay, so Lost Boys is my favorite horror
That's not
movie.
cheesy
Well,
though.
hold on. I just want to know your thoughts between the movies that I would get compared to each other, right? Lost Boys and then Near Dark. You know where I'm going with this.
I've seen
Would
them
you prefer one or
both.
the other?
I honestly don't have a preference because they both are great movies on their own. I
Dude,
don't think I don't feel like that you can really compare the two because the tone is different and
Mhm.
it's not even in the same wheelhouse even in my opinion.
I think Near Dark is Bill Paxton's greatest role.
I will say I hate that fucking kid.
Oh yeah,
Homer.
yeah.
Oh
Homer,
my
he
God.
sucked. He sucked.
That
Homer,
kid.
yeah.
And you know the funny thing is that's the kid that just did The Exorcism with he wrote The Exorcism with Russell Crowe
Russell Crowe.
because his father was Jason from Karras from the original Exorcist.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's about his experience while his father was working on The Exorcist. That was the inspiration for the movie.
Nice.
Huh. Okay, but yeah, that hey kid, thanks for this movie, but your role sucked as Homer.
Right? Exactly. You're a great kid to hate. Thanks.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah,
Right?
but no, like that whole the bar scene from Near Dark was one of the greatest scenes of all time. Like that scene was such a
Yeah.
classic scene. For some
I
reason,
would-
I don't know why it made me think of this, but the bar scene from Near Dark somehow I feel like there was another movie that's a creature feature more recent that took a lot of
Beast.
like liberties from that. Feast. Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Fantastic.
Mark.
Yeah, it's fantastic though. Feast was amazing.
The
first
sequel's
one
not so
was-
much.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean even Sloppy Seconds was kind of fun.
Yeah, then it got real weird in the third one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it got
the
so weird.
third
My
one, yeah.
favorite scene. So my mother was a huge soap opera fan when I was a kid, right? So she loved like Days of Our Lives and General Hospital and all that. And that
Mhm.
scene when Krista Allen put her fist down that beast's throat, I was just like, oh my God.
That movie was great. That was one of the first videos I ever put on TikTok. Was
know
I
what's-
watched Feast.
Do you know
Yeah.
the history behind Feast?
I don't.
Yes.
So Matt Damon and Ben
Matt
Affleck,
Damon!
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon!
they had this contest going called Project Greenlight, right? Where
Yep.
they had a bunch of people submit to get their films made, and Feast was the winner the first year they did it.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
remember that.
So Jim, who was the director of Feast?
I don't remember.
Clu Gulager's son. Who's Clu Gulager?
So not Clu Gulager, but his
Clu
son.
Gulager.
And how would I know? How would I know that he's Clu Gulager's son?
Because Clu Gulager's in the movie. So
Is he?
Clu Gulager
John
is
Gulager.
in Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
He's in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
As who? As the dad?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's a bartender in that one.
Okay. So fair enough. I would never know his name, but his face I would know.
I
He
met
was in
Clu
all
Gulager.
He was in all the Feast movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's in all
nice.
3 of them, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Happy Endings was not good.
No, especially with the weird giant robots at the end.
Yeah.
It's
But
like, what the fuck?
I did love the mating scene in Sloppy Seconds. That was hysterical.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Just even the first one where they capture like the baby monster
Yeah.
and then they kill it and throw it out and they're like, oh, they're fucking now and they're eating it.
That movie just escalated so fast. I was just like, okay, it's gonna be a creature movie, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is just
Yeah.
like, like they just backed up the truck of like fake blood and entrails.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, because that was when I told you about Ryan, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Henry Rollins in there,
Yep.
Yes.
As a motivational speaker or
Yeah.
whatever.
which
Yep.
I think he probably would be, if he wasn't what
Yeah.
he did. Hey, Ryan, before I forget, because you brought up Giallo before, have you seen The Editor?
I have not.
Look up The Editor.
I thought we were talking
is-
about 80s cheese.
No, shut up. So this is a throwback parody of like 70s, 80s Italian giallo horror
Okay.
done by
Garbage.
the guys from Astron 6, and it is fucking hilarious.
It looks great. I like the movie poster. I want to check it out. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, do. It's so funny, and it's so accurate if you like Italian horror films.
I do.
Because the lip syncs off and like the lighting, it's just it just nails it.
That's what I
100%.
the one I watched. Suspiria is one of my favorites. Like I didn't watch the remake yet, but I hear it's not near as good.
Now, the
I
remake.
thought the remake was better.
What?
No, so
Well, the
to
original
me,
is so fucking boring. I mean,
The original was
Well,
beautiful. It was like
it's
just the color
so
and the
garbage.
sound and
so kind of like the Maniac remake.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What the Suspiria remake does is borrows from the original, but
Okay.
adds new stuff to it.
Okay.
And I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
watch it. I'll check it out. It's on my list.
Yep.
My backlog is long. It's growing.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand.
Like me and David are gonna do like a 31 days of Halloween where we watch a different one each day, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be an endurance race.
you're gonna get into lengths of episodes that are like me and Mark.
Probably.
Our sweet spot is 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's where people tend to drop off.
Okay.
Who cares?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
more
Not
about just
shit on
people
our
having-
3 listeners, Mark.
Well, I mean that's your mom, and
That's 2 of them, yes.
and
Every
her-
listener
And
counts.
Victoria,
three-
Veronica.
and her
I know your
three-
name, Veronica.
She's not. She's over on Loriana's live now.
Oh, that's right. She left.
Yep, that's okay. We
Traitor.
have Debbie now, though. Debbie's one of my good friends.
Hi, Debbie.
Veronica's
Hello.
dead. Sorry, Veronica's dead to us now.
She is not dead to us.
Victoria
Yes,
is, but
Traitor.
Veronica lives.
That's right.
Yeah.
Victoria
Long
can
live Victoria.
die. Horrible death. So 80s
So-
cheese, right?
So let's talk about Frank Henenlotter. Are you a Frank Henenlotter fan? So have you seen Basket Case?
Yeah,
Uh,
I was just
Franken-
I brought
I don't know who
Frank, is
that
that
is.
Frankenhooker?
Frankenhooker
Yeah.
and Brain Damage?
Brain damage
yeah.
I've seen. That's a good
I
one.
never heard of any of these people.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. You don't like horror movies.
Pretty
Um,
much true.
so
I will say that Frankenhooker traumatized me as a kid.
because there's boobs in it.
Not so much. More because there's a guy getting his head sewn onto a woman's body.
hmm
But Silence of the Lambs was okay.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs was fine.
All right.
I didn't
Good to
sneak
know.
down. I didn't sneak down in my pajamas at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Silence of the Lambs.
What was that movie? what was that movie with Ray Milland in it? And it was like he's a racist and he
Oh,
gets
that's right, where he gets the second head, the thing with 2 heads.
right.
Oh,
And the other guy, the other one's a black guy.
I cried when they cut that head off.
Well, you
What
cried
was-
a lot of
What
things.
was that?
The thing with 2 heads.
Is that what it was called?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Very inventive.
And then we can talk about Steve Martin's
The
the
Jerk.
man with two brains
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
with Jeffrey Combs in it.
Yep.
Hey, I've got one for you. I'm not sure if you guys have seen any of you have seen this. Have you guys watched The Keep?
Yes,
With
Michael
frickin'
Mann.
Scott Glenn and freaking
Yep.
Ian McKellen.
Yes, Michael Mann's directs.
Was it Gabriel Byrne in that too?
Mm-hmm,
I love
Dude,
Gabriel
that movie-
Byrne.
That movie was
Yeah,
like my like one of the things that got like I didn't mention when it got me like what got me into horror. My aunt is like a huge Bela Lugosi fan.
What,
Like
what did you just say?
What?
Did you say ant?
aunt,
Yeah.
yes, my aunt
So,
was
so
a
she's
huge
an insect.
yes.
Just kidding.
She's a huge Bela Lugosi fan. Like I'm talking her house is like permanent Halloween. Like she has photos of like Bela Lugosi's gravesite and like all this crazy stuff. But she got me to watch all these like do you ever what are you guys members on Criterion?
No, I'm not a member. No.
Okay, Criterion every Halloween has like all these like I mean I won't say crazy movies, but like old school 80s, like you know, a lot of Prince of Darkness. What's the one with it's a Spanish one where the little it's like a bug, but it's like a brooch that bites the hand and turns him into a
Kronos.
what is it?
Kronos.
Yes, Kronos.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not Spanish. It's Mexican. It's
Mexican.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yes. So stuff like that. And so she had me watch The Keep one time when I was down there like a year ago, and I was like, "Where has this movie been on my like? This is amazing! Like this, like the music and like everything is just great. It's like in an old like Nazi fortress. Like it was crazy.
It kind of borrows heavily from like Jewish kind of mythology, with like the golem and these
Yeah.
types of things.
Yeah, okay.
But it's
Like
very
the glowing
art house.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very art house because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But the cast are so like invested in it, right? Because it could be like super cheesy,
Yeah.
but they're really behind that movie. And it's very strange.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I like I don't know. I like a lot of weird, just like
it.
it's
It
strange.
it's almost like like if David Lynch made some
Mhm.
sort of period.
And that's probably why my aunt loves it, because she's a huge Twin Peaks fan.
Oh, who doesn't love
Yeah.
Twin Peaks?
I
I
mean,
was so sad when the log lady died in the reboot.
the remake or
Yes.
reboot or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so sad. She really died. That's why they killed off her character.
Are you guys X-Files fans by chance?
Loved it.
Okay, good. Me
Liked
too.
it.
I think
My favorite episode was with Lily Tomlin and Ed Asner when they played the ghosts.
yes, I remember that
yeah,
one.
that was
I
a good
love that
yeah.
one.
My favorite one is Eugene
Combs. Dooms.
the guy that could like stretch. Oh my God, they did 2 episodes. You know, one of the weird part about it, the actor who I think my internet might be breaking up.
You
Yeah,
are
you're
breaking up.
Is okay.
Oh, I'm back. I'm back.
There you are.
No, I was saying like the guy that played him
Hey.
is like a real weirdo. I'm back. Eugene Victor Toombs, that's the guy.
So like the X-Files was one of those, I think it went on too long. And I kind of checked out towards like when Mulder and Scully weren't there, and
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fair.
they had Robert Patrick in, and so I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, I think it's run its course.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I can understand that.
I loved it. I thought Mulder and Scully's like banter and like it was genius. I love them both.
Iconic, yeah.
I think it's so funny. It took like 5 seasons for Scully to be like, okay, I start to believe this now. Like, what the fuck have you seen all this time?
Right, like you 5 seasons, like you were sent in there to be the detractor, and now you're like, you've seen all this crazy stuff happen, and you still are trying to like derail the X-Files after all you've seen.
And the X-Files was really like a modern update of Kolchak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
reporter.
100%.
Jim,
Yes.
go ahead.
Go ahead with.
We're talking about the movies. Go ahead.
We were. I don't know any though.
Jim,
Remember, I'm not a
James,
fan.
No. Just in
Timothy?
general. Just in general.
But I'm not a fan, so what does it matter?
No, let's just keep it going. Come on.
What are we going to talk about, Mark? Because I'm not a fan of movies.
No. We're talking about 80s and whatever. Come on, let's go.
So I will tell you, like, so we went to a convention, and this is going to tie in a minute. I got to meet Amy Steele, right? And we were sitting there talking at her table, and I didn't talk to her not one single bit about Friday the 13th. I only talked to her about one of my favorite movies from the 80s. What did you say, Mark?
Nothing. Go ahead.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I freaking love it.
That's a good
It
one.
was great, and I still don't understand the twist at the end. Still curious about that.
Nobody does, but it's provocative. It gets the people going, Jim.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it, but I'm here for it.
Well, it's the reason why a lot of people hated it when they first watched it, like back in the 80s.
It's fair. I mean, right. But so okay, let me preface this. It's not the first twist. I get the first twist, right? It makes sense that she's not really killing these people. That it's all a whodunit type thing. It's the very end of the film that I'm like, what?
I don't remember the very end. Why don't you tell us?
She gets her throat slit by somebody in her bedroom.
Yeah, it was just a joke, though.
Not in that one. It wasn't.
How do you know?
Exactly my point. How do you know?
Yeah, exactly. You leave it on the on the audience to figure out what's real and what's not.
But other than that,
right.
I absolutely adore the film. It's great.
I got another 80s one for you.
Yeah,
Speaking of Lance Hendrickson, what about Pumpkinhead?
Love it.
Masterpiece, right?
Never heard of it.
Jim, I don't watch horror. I don't know.
Exactly. I love Pumpkinhead. It was one of my favorite movies.
That was
So-
one that
so-
Yeah.
I will never forget of being in the video store. That's the one where like I kept seeing the VHS and I was like, I want to watch that. I want to rent this. And my mom. So for those of you who don't know, a little bit of background, this will make a lot more sense. I grew up Mormon and until I was a 16. And so it was just, oh, that's too violent. It's over the top. We can't watch this. Well,
Mhm.
guess what I did? Rented it under my friend's mom's name and watched that shit.
Booyah.
And it
Tell me
like,
what
once
to
again,
do.
well, yeah. I'll show you. Like it blew
Right.
my mind. I freaking love Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, fair
Mhm.
Yeah.
enough.
Whenever I met Lance, I had him sign the Pumpkinhead
Mm.
picture. But whenever I saw it in the UK, it was called Vengeance the Demon, which maybe
really?
makes more sense.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might. It
But how would you watch Vengeance the
might.
Demon Blood Wings?
Because how would you watch Pumpkinhead Blood Wings? What are you talking about?
It just doesn't make sense the way you say it.
Anyway, moving along.
Anyways.
Yes, Pumpkinhead is an amazing movie that kind of plays with your emotions. That
Right.
so some of the movies in the 80s are just more kind of fun or whatever.
Right.
But you really feel like he is so upset that his son died that he'll
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
But also the people that Pumpkinhead's going after, they're not all bad people, and they were like,
Exactly.
"Holy shit, this is terrible too."
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he kills almost everybody there. Yeah.
and it's Stan Winston's only directorial movie, right?
Might be.
Stan Winston directed it. Yeah. Mhm.
So, Mark, do
Yes.
you want to move on to what we've watched?
Oh, I do.
Let's do it.
Oh,
What do you
I
got?
do.
Well, we're
I
gonna start
do.
with anybody but Mark.
Yes,
So,
yes,
Ryne,
yes.
what
I
would you
can
like
go
to
at
talk
the end.
about that you've seen recently, whether it's horror related or not?
Sure. So I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, most recently, I went and saw Never Let Go, which is the new Halle Berry
Yeah.
It's
horror
Alexander
thriller.
Isaac, all right?
Yes, which I
Is
was
it really?
very
I love
excited.
him.
I do too. High Tension and the Hills Have Eyes, or not? Yeah,
Oh.
Hills Have Eyes remake. Thought it. So here's. I had a hard time with this one because I liked so much about it, and I also had there was enough problems with it. I thought that the cinematography was beautiful. Like it was, I mean, it was literally a cabin in the woods, like nature setting. It was gorgeous. The sound, like of them being like her on the porch, like the crickets, like nature. It was sounded amazing. It looked good. The acting was good. She was great, and the twins that played her boys were also very good for being so young. But I just felt like it was kind of like I almost felt like we were going down a what's that stupid movie with Adrian Brody where The Village? I almost felt like we were going down a village hole
I
here,
hate that
where it
movie.
was
No.
like his mom's telling him that telling these kids the whole time that the world's over and evil's out there, and like really everything's fine. This is like some crazy like mom who's a religious zealot who's like evil's out there. So I kind of felt like we were going that direction without giving too much away since it is new. It didn't go that way necessarily, but it just felt very disjointed. Like it was like, hey, we've got a rope that ties us to the house, and as long as we're on this rope, like evil can't get us. It was just, I don't know, like I had some issues with it, along with the really good.
It sounds like what's that Michael Shannon movie about where he thinks the world's going to end?
You're not talking about
Take Shelter. Have you seen Take
yeah.
Shelter?
Oh yeah, it's been a minute though. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like that. Maybe,
but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It was like I said, I would go see it. It was like it was. There are some really good jump scares, and there is some really good aspects of it that make it worth a watch. I just don't think it's like not in my top 5 or whatever we want to call it. But that was the most recent one I saw. Of course, I saw Beetlejuice 2. I thought Beetlejuice 2 was really
That's
good.
really
I
good.
liked it. I know it was divisive. A lot of people either loved it or hated it. And one that actually I was very surprised at,
Not
I'll
yet.
say, is
Yeah.
have you seen Starry Eyes? Dude, Starry Eyes freaking ripped. It was good.
I thought Starry Eyes was a little disappointing.
That's fair. I just like the whole idea of this, like like what
Right.
would you do to make it big? Like, would you give up
Right.
everything?
Well,
And
that's why we're
the
doing
ending-
this podcast. We're giving up everything for this podcast, right?
Mhm.
Are we?
That's true.
I mean,
So
Mark,
those-
you did give up your yacht.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, those are the big ones that I've watched recently that like stuck out to me.
Mhm.
So that's one thing we did agree on, Ryan. We did both love Beetlejuice.
Yes, I liked
Yeah,
it.
that was
I thought it was good.
a great sequel.
Yeah, I agree.
There were pieces that I'm like, okay, yeah, the Dolores storyline you maybe could have done without, and I
Yeah,
maybe
the
like
ex-wife thing, yeah, it was like
I didn't
felt like
mind
it didn't
that
really
because as
need
soon
it.
as you saw, I don't want to give anything away, but it made sense to me.
I mean, I get why they did it, but towards the end of the movie,
But, like,
I forgot
she's
she was
supposed to be
even
this-
there.
The
Until
only
she-
Yeah,
the only
like-
thing I
like-
had trouble with that I thought might be a bit problematic is the Soul Train.
Yeah, that was.
That looked like a little like it was pushing the envelope a little too much.
yeah, yeah.
That was,
But other than
yeah,
that, I thought it was great.
Have you seen it yet, Mark?
No,
Got to get on that,
no,
man. It's worth
I
a watch.
was, I think maybe I watched the first one maybe too late or something.
Mm.
It was fine. I just didn't really connect with it.
I think Michael Keaton is like needs to be
Oh.
guarded with his. He's a national treasure.
He is absolutely
Protect him at all costs.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree.
So what have you been watching, Mark or Jim?
Jim,
We'll go
you
with
go
Mark.
first.
Mine are
No.
much smaller.
No, Jim, you go
Okay.
ahead.
So I watched Trap today. I
Okay.
thought that the movie is lazy. There's never really any tension in the film. However, Josh Hartnett plays probably one of the most nuanced madmen that I've ever seen on film.
I've heard that.
He is absolutely fantastic in a very tepid movie.
What
Okay.
do you mean nuance?
So he never goes batshit crazy. You see him get close to that, but he is so
Barker.
controlled and so in control of his emotions the entire time. You see little things like you see his eyes start to twitch. You see him just
nice.
That look where he like looks at the camera like kind of down and like smiles. I was like, that's terrifying.
right. And then there's
Yeah.
a scene in it where he's having a conversation with somebody and you just see him start to twitch a little bit, but his tone never changes. But he twitches a little bit and he's explaining, I'm so angry with you, I'm boiling inside.
Is
Right?
is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter the pop star?
She is. And
That's impressive. Did she
let me
did she
tell you
actually
about-
sing in the movie?
she sang and she wrote all the music.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
that's impressive in
Nice.
its own.
She is
yeah.
extremely talented as a singer-songwriter for sure.
Just maybe
An
not as a
actress, not
director.
so much.
Jim, she didn't use AI. Is
She
that
did
what you're
not,
saying?
no.
Okay. Only talentless people will use
Right.
it.
She is so incredibly talented on that front that I was really impressed. So what else did we watch?
I want to watch that one, but I like Josh Hartnett so much. I love 30 Days of Night and like everything,
Yeah.
like almost everything he's been in. He's been like
Mhm.
going back to The Faculty, which
Yeah.
holy, like, oh my god.
Faculty, yeah, that's
That was a
good
great film.
Do you
But
know
anyway.
what the scariest thing he's ever been in?
What?
one. What's that?
Pearl Harbor.
Halloween
Halloween
H2O with the bangs.
H2O with his
Oh,
bangs.
that's right.
Yes.
But I will say it's not a bad movie. Like it's better than trying to watch The Watchers.
So
But it's not a
so-
great movie because it
so-
never
Yeah.
really gets you to where you feel any sort of panic or dread.
So
Gotcha.
Jim, if you like that sort of character, you should check out the house that Jack built,
I keep hearing that, and I just for
the
whatever
Lars
reason,
von Trier one.
yeah, it goes right out of my head after I hear somebody talk about it for some reason.
Well, it sounds like it's the same sort of archetype for the
Yeah.
killing.
And that really was the only good part of the whole film, right? Like you could see when he was planning and trying to figure out how to get out of the concert, where he was watching everything. What I will tell you is the biggest surprise of that film is seeing Haley Mills on camera. I could not believe she played the FBI profiler. I haven't seen her in anything since she was on Saved by the Bell.
Was she who was she in Saved by the Bell? Was she
The teacher.
Tori? Who?
She was the teacher. The original teacher from Saved by the
Talking about
Bell.
Miss Bliss?
Miss
Miss
Bliss,
Bliss?
yes.
Oh, I
Well,
was like, wait a minute, Mr. Belding?
No,
It-
Miss Bliss.
hang on. So I'm having a brain fart here. Is Haley Mills John Mills' daughter?
No,
That
Haley
was-
Mills is the actress that played the twins in the original Parent Trap in the 60s.
Hang on.
Mm.
Parent Trap, Parent Trap, Parent Trap. Killing Horror.
That darn cat.
That
Maybe I'm thinking something. Another actress.
Possibly.
Interesting.
But I mean, seeing her on screen, I mean, she's got to be close to 90.
right? I mean,
But she
yeah.
was fantastic.
She's 80 something.
She's
Yeah.
78.
78, really?
Yeah.
She's a
Huh,
lot younger than I thought she was.
right?
Yeah. Says she's
She's
born in
Portrayed a lot
1946.
older in Saved by the Bell.
Jesus
Man.
Christ, I'm sorry, Haley Mills. I know you're an avid fan, but I apologize for calling out your age incorrectly.
She's
But
like, I'm
anyway.
shutting down this podcast.
Yeah,
Right,
dang it."
exactly.
Podcast is done.
She's gonna sit at my door next week.
There's our revenue stream gone.
Right. But that was the biggest surprise was seeing her in the film. She was great. She was really, really great.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of what else we've watched this week. There's not really much. Like we rewatched The Following, which
What about the Megan Fox one that you watched?
I saw that last week though.
It's
So-
still pretty recent.
It is. So we watched Subservient.
A Serbian film?
Subservient.
Edgelord?
Subservient. Right?
Is Vincenzo here?
No, Vincenzo's not here. So
Yes, get the child out of the room, David.
this
So this is the one where is it basically Megan or what's it?
kind of, yeah. It kind of is, but she's a full-grown robot,
Okay.
and it goes Fatal Attraction.
Oh,
Like that has no one like every movie that's ever they try to make AI, it always ends that way.
Yeah, this is the only possible role Megan Fox can play, given that she can't emote anymore.
I mean, that's fair. Listen,
that is,
I'm not gonna.
that is 100% fair.
Although I will say I love Jennifer's Body. That movie was great.
Right, but she still had a face that moved then,
That was many moons ago.
right? But I will say it's a vapid movie. There's very little substance to it, and it's
Mhm.
just not exciting at all.
Okay.
I-
When you told me you watched that one, for some reason I saw Subservient, but I thought Substance, and that's why I was like, oh man, Jim really doesn't like this movie because everyone's loving the Substance right now.
Right.
So
I know, and I'm looking forward to it because I haven't seen Demi Moore in a character-driven film in a long time, and she's great at them usually.
I was
Mhm.
deciding between that and Never Let Go, and I was like, I can go at 9:00. I was like, okay, well I can go at 9:00 to watch Never Let Go. It's an hour and 32 minutes, or I can go watch Substance, which is 2.5
Right.
hours, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on that late.
I'm trying to think of what else.
I'm
I'm
tired.
trying to think of what else we watched this week. Like I told you, we rewatched The Following. I
Following,
did
the
watch
TV show The Following?
Monsters, the Eric. Yeah,
The one with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, we're rewatching.
Dude, that show
we
was
got
so
through-
good for like 2 seasons.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons were great. The
Yeah,
first-
and then it was like
Oh.
everybody's part of the cult.
right.
Like,
Man, like I remember watching
but-
that with my wife, and it was great.
yeah.
I did
And-
watch the Eric and Lyle Menendez story, Monsters.
I wanted to
How is
watch
that?
that. How is that?
I didn't get all the homoeroticism. That didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I know Jax Teller's supposed to play Ed Gein in the third.
the new, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Version of that, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. But like, they hint at so much, and they do. They don't just hint. Like it's very blatant that these two had a very inappropriate relationship for brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like watching each other shower and all kinds of
Mhm.
weirdness, like getting popped up on coke and making out and just weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it based in Florida, Jim? Because that's normal. here.
No, it's not. Based-
Okay. I just want to check.
California.
It's based Beverly Hills.
Oh no, no. You would
But it
even
was just-
move
it
to
was-
Florida.
It was weird, and it was not stuff that I remembered hearing during the cases. Like it makes sense
Right.
to be part of the story when it wasn't a big portion of what actually came out during the trial, right?
Yeah.
that
makes sense.
And I had a bit of a problem because this is going to sound terrible, but the family is supposed to be Hispanic, right? Or have Hispanic descent, and
Yes.
it looked like they caked them with makeup to make them look Hispanic.
Oh, jeez.
that's
Like,
a
it
big
looked like a
problem.
bad spray tan.
I don't understand why
yeah.
when you have actors and actresses that are actually of the, descent that you're trying to like. That's why I had that problem with that stupid. What was that Asian film with like where they decided to cast Matt Damon like with it was a monster
The
movie.
Oh, the
Wall.
Great Wall.
Dude, like you're
Yeah.
telling me there's not a qualified, really good Asian actor that could have played that role?
Well,
So,
that's the thing. Like
well,
these
no, no,
characters
hang
may
on.
have been Hispanic,
No,
but they
hang
looked
on.
better when they didn't have the spray tan.
So Ryan, I will say two things about that which are equally problematic. Matt Damon is a well-known actor, so if you want to try and make money
Correct.
and you don't have, a big main actor, it's more difficult. Also, on the other side, there's not
Mhm.
many Asian actors that are really famous. So you've got that.
Well, like you could have had the
crossover.
guy from what's the guy from freaking Shogun? That dude just want like that dude could have been it.
I don't disagree, but you have to remember that like Hollywood is not about art, right? It's about making money, and it's about how can we get like asses on seats in the theater.
Well, it's because how can we make
Yeah.
an average script and make money off of it?
Right. So now my next jaunt is going to be into my books and what I've read.
Yeah, tell me because I need to read more because people
So
think I can't
I
read
read-
like my wife.
I read this story called, or this book, this anthology called Extremely Bizarre. And it's basically bizarro horror fiction, right?
Right.
Do you know what would be fun? Sorry, Jim. Do you know what would be funny to have that title and have it to be a very mundane book? Like just subvert
done?
expectations.
Are you done?
Am I done? No, I can talk for
Okay.
I'm never done.
however long that you want me to.
There are several very good stories in this book. My favorite of which is Little Crawler,
Okay.
which is about a woman who is at a vacation home in the English countryside, and she drops her baby out of a window,
Jeez.
Jesus.
and the baby
Right.
dies. She goes to jail,
Okay.
and when she gets out, she rents the same vacation home
Why?
under an assumed
Right?
name.
Why?
Did you talk about this on the last podcast? It sounds familiar.
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Does you want to torment yourself? Because that's how you do that.
right,
Yeah.
so she goes outside because she hears a noise, and she finds a dead baby in the bushes.
But
Holy
not
shit.
the dead
Not-
baby.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know yet
Oh, okay.
at this point. So she goes out and she prepares everything to lure the baby into the house.
How do you lure a baby into a house?
That's a good
Formula
question.
and breastfeeding pads, apparently.
Okay.
All right. Good to know. Good
Not,
to know.
not that I want to know, but
Right, and
Yeah.
she like smears herself in formula and this weird stuff to make her smell like she's lactating. It's very strange.
What the
All
fuck?
right.
So the baby crawls up the side of the house, gets
As
into the
babies do.
bedroom, and then decides it wants to be inside of her again.
Oh.
Okay.
And it graphically gets there.
Jim, you did talk about this last week, but that's okay.
Did I?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
whatever.
okay.
There were different
But I
guests
want to
on
know
it.
about it.
No,
It's-
yeah,
Right? That's
It's
some
it's
real messed
quite
up.
it's quite
it's a reverse Serbian film.
yeah, kind of. So but anyway, I love bizarro fiction. My favorite is a book called Fight Tub by William Paulson.
Fight tub.
Yes,
Fight Tub.
Fight Tub.
Nobody talks about Fight Tub.
That's right. It's about this gentleman who wakes up and he has plumbing growing out of his body.
Yes, we talked about this last week too, Jim.
Shut up, Mark.
Ready?
It's okay. You can talk about it. I'm just saying.
So he tries to hide it, and then he finds out that the girl who is his crush at the office also has plumbing growing out of her body. And then his boss turns into this giant gelatinous creature, and they have to fight him.
And his name was Robert Paulson.
No. But anyway, that's it for
Interesting.
me. Yeah, that's it for me.
That's some. I don't know what I would do if I had plumbing. Like I woke up and I was
Like
like, "Oh,
actual
what's
plumbing.
Oh,
this?"
so I do. There is a story. Okay, so I have to talk about this, Mark. I did not talk about this last week. So we're talking about anthologies and bizarro fiction. There's Kevin J. Kennedy puts out this horror anthology. There's several of them a year, and he did one called the Pumpkin Edition.
Mhm.
And in that book
Okay.
is a story I still think about to this day. And I'm sorry my buddy Tim King. I'm gonna have to call you out on this, but I've only ever talked to him about this story because he's the only one that's read the anthology, right?
Mhm.
And I always have to, whenever I want to find out what book it's in, because I can never remember, I have to search our Facebook chat for Ghost Penis. So it's about a guy who is living in a haunted house, and the house is haunted by the ghost of his grandfather, but only his penis. So at one point, the penis starts having sex with his wife, while a ghost goldfish is giving her a rim job.
Oh my god.
It goes so many places, and it's
So-
just like, what is happening?
Hang on, sorry,
It's
sorry,
glorious.
what's the name of this documentary?
I don't remember the name of the story, but it's in an anthology called the horror Kevin J. Kennedy presents Horror the Pumpkin Edition.
Is that horror or horror the pumpkin
Horror.
edition?
Horror. The Horror Collection Pumpkin Edition is what it's called.
Listen, sometimes you need a story or a movie to just absolutely flip you on your head,
Right?
because it's like everything's expected. Like, at this point, we've seen everything, or maybe
Right.
almost everything. We've seen a lot. We've seen a
Right,
lot. We've read a lot.
yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, every now and then when a movie can really just throw you through a loop, it's like, I'll give them like, that's props, impressive, because like I said, we've seen it all. Like, the fact that you can
Yeah.
shock me is pretty good, and that's what I think. So I'm gonna kind of veer here. And I had someone comment on my video of The Well, and they said, "Hey, I'm not a big gore fan. Can you tell me why you keep saying that the kills are awesome?" And I was like, "Sure, I'd love to. It's because I have a respect for the filmmakers and the people that work on these movies to be able to like put that forward onto film and make it believable and look like it does. Like,
Mhm.
their craft is incredible, and that's how I feel about an author or a filmmaker. And like I said,
Are you saying
anytime you
they're
can,
crap, like literally, or just the stuff they put out?
just the stuff they put out, like,
Okay, gotcha.
it's just, I just think it's impressive. Like, and it's not for everyone, right?
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
gore is not, or like wild, if it's an author, that's not for everyone. But I just think it's impressive. Like you said, if you can flip it on its head and make me see something that I've never seen before, like,
Right.
that's like,
Yeah.
shock value
Kudos.
is for something, which is why everyone's talking about Terrifier right now, right?
I agree.
Exactly.
Okay, David, we're on to you. What have you seen or read recently that you want to talk about?
I mean, I read The Mist recently because I couldn't remember if I had or not.
Right.
So that was good.
That was one of the
Oh,
most
sorry.
heartbreaking endings of all time.
The
Sorry.
movie, yes, not
The
the
movie,
book.
yes, not the. The
Yeah.
book's different. Okay, I never read the book.
book's different.
Oh yeah. So sorry, David, to interrupt you. I was going through. I think it was Tubi.
Kanye will let you finish. Don't worry, David.
No, and there was I think it was like a Chinese or Japanese movie, and they played the trailer as you're like scrolling down,
right.
and it was like Creatures from the Mist, but it looked exactly like The Mist, but set in like samurai times,
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
and it was only an hour long, and I have to watch
Uh-huh.
it, but it like, so, I was like, what? Because they
That's
even have like in The Mist, like the movie, they have the huge creature.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
giant one.
they have like that and stuff, but they have archers and stuff. So I'll have to
Okay.
watch that. It's
I'll have to
probably
check that one
terrible.
out. Probably, but that might be a good thing.
Yeah. Sorry to derail
No
you.
worries. Yeah, but and then I watched like Ryan was saying, like watched You're Next the other night.
Yeah.
That was pleasantly good. It's one of those movies where I kept seeing it there. I'm like, like I never actually felt the need to stop and actually watch the preview. And then just the other night, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll put it on and see. And then I was like, oh shit, this movie's awesome. And then like for whatever reason, I felt compelled to watch the 2018 Halloween, followed up with Halloween Kills earlier this morning
So-
because I was just like, fuck it.
I need to talk about. Well, we need to talk about this, right? So Halloween 2018 was okay.
No,
It was a.
No, it was
an-
good.
It was an
No.
okay Halloween film.
no.
What didn't you like about Halloween 2018? Like, I'm not saying it made sense or that it was perfect. It was okay.
No,
I liked
remember
it.
we had this discussion, and I'm
We
like,
did.
when I first watched it, I thought it was okay, and I watched it again, and then I hated it.
So
I'm
maybe it's
kind of
because
Why?
you watched it.
But why?
I don't know. Blocked it out of my memory. I was with Anns and Kills because it, I
Yeah.
think it was too derivative. I think uh, again, well shot,
Mhm.
well lit, good sets, but just like the story was just like,
Yeah, the story was a mess, but even
Yeah.
still, it's still better than Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
That's true.
oh yeah, Halloween Ends is Halloween Ends and Exorcist Believer
It's
must
doo-doo.
be two of the worst movies
Caca.
Yeah.
They're the same
ever
director. How could
made
they be
as
good?
far as being in a franchise and having a big budget and
Yeah.
looking good and everything else, but it's just like terrible.
Trash.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Oh no, I mean that's just what I've watched recently. I haven't had much chance of watching more than I'd like, but that's what I've watched recently. I don't know why I turned mine on this morning. I was just like, the hell with it. I'm out
Yeah.
here with the baby.
Yeah.
She can watch it.
Well, and this is what like franchises kind of depend on. It's a curiosity, right? It's the
Yeah.
only reason I watch them. I'm like, okay, I won't go to the movies to see it, but if it's free on streaming, I'll put it on and just look at
Oh
it.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is. And
Absolutely.
again, there's a lot of the objective craft about it that's good.
Yeah.
Direction, line, or all of that stuff. But
Mhm.
to me, it's like story first, everything second.
Right.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Veronica's back, and she wants to know, what are your thoughts on Sleepy Hollow?
The Tim Burton one?
Yes,
Amazing. I loved it. I love almost everything Tim Burton does. Almost.
agreed.
Yeah.
Mark?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It was okay.
And it has Christopher Walken in it. It's as the headless.
Oh yeah, that's
horseman.
right. He
It's
was a
amazing.
headless horseman. Yeah.
There's just a point with Tim Burton movies where they all feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like same actors and same direction and same gothic.
They all have a very similar aesthetic.
Right.
Sure. I love Sweeney Todd too.
I love Sweeney
Oh
Todd.
no, couldn't watch it.
I know Mark hates musicals.
So do I.
Well, no,
Oh well, that presents a problem.
no, yeah. I don't mind something that has musical numbers in it, but I can't watch something that's just everything's sung. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
But not everything
Just
is.
not-
Fair enough.
just not for
It's
me.
an operetta. That's not an opera.
Oh.
So that means that there are some spoken words in it.
Okay, if he says hello and then la 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 la, and
Pretty
then
much, yes.
says, hello la 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 la.
That's why
Like
Phantom of the Opera is not considered an opera, because there is some spoken word. in it.
I don't really care about the details.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
If 90% of the stuff is sung,
Which it is.
I don't care if
yeah.
you call it an operetta, a musical, or whatever. I'm not going to be on board.
Fair enough.
Agree.
You're missing out with Anna in the Apocalypse, though.
Just not my thing. But yeah, if you enjoy it, cool.
Yep. Fair enough. So we've hit the sweet spot, guys.
Well, hang on. I
2 hours
haven't
and
talked
15
about what I've watched.
Nobody cares.
Nor me.
I thought we did you already, Ryne.
Yeah,
I don't
we
remember.
did. Ryan. We did.
Whatever.
You were first.
I was.
Yeah, you're the first one.
Oh,
Hey, Ryne, how much
I
have
have
you
one-
had to drink?
enough. Dare you? I have one. I have one more. I want to mention though.
Okay,
Yeah.
let Mark
I
go.
watched Ready or Not.
No.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
I watched Ready or Not, and then I watched actually two. I watched The Babysitter because Jim told me I had to watch The Babysitter if I watched Ready or Not.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
I
Do
love
not watch
Samara.
the sequel. It's fucking garbage.
I love Samara Weaving so much, and I think she's a great horror addition to the actress world. So anyway,
Agreed.
go on, Mark. Tell me, which have you watched?
Okay. I'm just going to randomly talk about these things. So I'm going to talk about 1982's The Living Dead Girl
Never heard of it.
by Jean Rollin. It's a French
Me either.
movie. And
Ooh.
I looked up Living Dead Girl, and it was Rob Zombie's song.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
and so this is Roland is like I've seen a few of his movies. he really has like that Hammer gothic aesthetic. He wants to do like, lesbian vampire type stuff. Like that's a lot of his stuff. Beautifully shot. This one's actually a little bit more interesting than some of his others because they're kind of slow. Um, but tell me, like, if you've seen Return of the Living Dead, the start of this is a woman and has died, and she owns this castle, and people are going to dump toxic waste in the catacombs underneath, and she comes alive.
How dare they?
And there's half of the movie she can't speak. She just goes around and kills a few people. But like her supposed girlfriend, right? Finds out that she's alive and goes there. And
Is her supposed girlfriend the lesbian vampire?
yeah, no. This is more zombie.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about lesbian vampires.
No, I
That's
know.
what I
know,
thought
but-
too.
Right.
No. She's just a lesbian. And her
So, Mark,
girlfriend
So,
is
so
the
does that mean that
living
not all
dead
lesbians are
girl.
vampires?
Huh?
Are you saying that not all lesbians are vampires?
Correct.
Okay.
La morte vivante.
But there's a point where the zombie woman understands that what she's doing is terrible, because she's going around killing people and basically eating them. And her girlfriend loves her and wants her to survive. So she's like killing people so that she can eat, but she doesn't want to eat, but she kind of has that, again, it's like the vampire thing, right? And this is pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. You have to be in that genre long
Yeah, it sounds awful
mindset
fun.
about like very nice
Mhm.
shots and all of this sort of gothic stuff, but it was good.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to talk about In a Violent Nature.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Loved it.
So, In a Violent Nature, to me, would have made a very good 30-minute movie short.
You could have, yeah.
I think an hour and a half was just a bridge too long for this one. I kind of feel like the director maybe played some of the asymmetrical, like Friday the 13th, Dead by Dawn games, and said, I'm going to have a third person, like Jason character, go and do these things, right?
Yeah.
But there's not enough meat on the bone as far as
Yeah.
and like I think a lot of the heavy lifting was done by the location, because it's beautiful again, and it's very well shot, but it's like a walking simulator. And like after a while,
Was the last like 30 minutes like not like sorry, the last 15 was not
The
really
ending
like the conversation
was
at
not
the
even
end?
needed.
I have such a hard time with it.
like I never saw that ghost movie. What was that ghost movie that they had? Apparently, some woman eating a pie for like 5 minutes, and the ghost is like you're just filling time here.
Right.
Right.
Like
That's what I felt.
either come up with more interesting characters, and again, the characters were dumb as fuck, but that's okay because that's the Friday the 13th slasher trope.
Yeah.
But the most, a lot of people talk about that one specific kill, which doesn't make any sense.
the yoga
It
kill.
was amazing.
That was
No, because I'm like, spoiler here, but if I shove a large hook through your spine, you're not going to stand there and then turn around and look at me. You're going to be on the floor.
Paralyzed.
Yeah.
So I think there was a good idea there. But like Leslie Vernon or something like that does that sort of thing better. But
we're getting a sequel, so we'll see where it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
Apparently.
There was just not enough in it to make an hour and a half movie to me.
I
Yeah.
felt like it was
Um,
very advantageous.
Yeah, like I said, well shot, but yeah.
All
And
right.
I read some reviews and they're like, "Oh, they should never have shown his face and all this." I'm like, that's the least of this movie's problems.
100%.
I thought the effects for his face is pretty good.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the least of it. Okay, so we're going to move on to a total random watch, which was 1993's Dark Waters.
Oh,
That's a
with
good
Jennifer
one.
Connelly or the original?
So this is not Dark Water. This is not the Japanese
Oh, okay.
movie. This is an Italian movie.
Is this Mark
Uh,
Ruffalo?
Nope,
Different one.
1993. If you look it
Okay.
up, I love this movie. This was a throwback to again 70s, 80s Italian horror. Fully English cast. I think it was shot in Ukraine just after Ukraine got liberated or whatever from Russia. This is a beautiful movie that's quite surreal.
Okay.
It's very, it's kind of nunsploitation. So basically, a woman's coming to this remote convent because her dad that just passed away was kind of sending them money all the time, and she didn't know why. So she was going to go see, hey, what's all this money going for? And it ends up being a very Lovecraftian movie. Um, I was blown away by this. I thought this was really, really good.
So what made it Lovecraftian? Was it
There,
was it a
there's
creature or was it really racist?
don't look up, don't look up what H.P. Lovecraft called a cat.
Exactly.
No, there is like a cosmic horror.
Fair enough.
Like,
I'm just
I don't really want to spoil it because
no,
I
that's fine.
really, really recommend this one for people who like that sort of, not you, Jim, but like kind of the more Italian surrealistic.
I'm gonna put it on my list.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it was a Tubi.
It is, yeah.
Or Fossum. That's another like free streaming channel, or Plex. I don't know.
Pluto.
I use Plex all the time.
Yeah, it's on one of those. Dark Waters, 1993.
Okay.
Okay, so I watched Antiviral,
I don't
which
think
is
I've seen that one.
Brandon Cronenberg's first movie.
Okay.
You might have seen Infinity Pool, which is
Oh,
his
yeah.
most.
God.
So this one has basically got the plot of it's a little bit in the future. People are so obsessed with celebrities that if a celebrity gets some sort of disease, they will take that disease and sell it so you can inject it into yourself.
Oh Jesus. Good
God.
Lord.
Fucking.
Okay.
But you know, that's not too far away if you ask me,
No.
because you know the whole thing is their cells are going into your cells, and even if it's a virus, you know, that's something that people want. I really, really, really love this. I thought this was better than Infinity Pool, which I thought was a good idea, not fully explored. But this one really does have the body horror of it's almost like a virus version of Videodrome, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
where people are consuming this, and there's a guy who works for this company that's supposed to be taking these the blood, etc., and he's sneaking some out to other people so that they can sell it in the black market.
That reminds me of one of the stories in that extremely bizarre book called Fame Sexual. It's about people that can only enjoy sex if they're watching famous people have sex.
All right. there definitely is elements of that. And it's funny because the main character, who I thought was like the guy that played Ron Weasley
Yeah.
in the
Rupert
Harry Potter
Grint.
movies, but it's not him. It's the guy that was in like the X-Men movies. But he's like constantly sick throughout the movie,
Right.
which adds that sort of just like, and he gets beat up like a couple of times and stuff, and you just feel like, hey, if you got the flu but you still have to do something,
Right.
it's just awful.
Yep.
And then at the very end, I think they do a really good job of just saying, yeah, this is where we're going with this, and it's body horror.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
So that was really good. And I will go finally.
Oh, time.
I Jim, Jim,
Yes.
shut up. Okay, so I'm kind of ADHD, and sometimes I'll start a
No.
movie, and yeah, I'm just like the ADHD.
I do that too.
But it's very rare where I'll start a movie and then I'll just cut it off because I don't like the main character in it.
You made a guessing game out of this on Facebook,
I
and we
did.
never got the answer.
Was it Jennifer Carpenter?
No, I love Jennifer Carpenter. I think she's great.
So tell us,
this-
oh, great Swami.
So this had two of my favorite horror actors from the 80s, and it's Barbara Crampton in it. Is Jeffrey Combs in it?
Are you talking about Suitable Flesh?
No, Jeffrey
Okay.
Combs isn't in that.
Oh, that's right.
No,
That's right.
this is a movie called Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls. This is
That's a mouthful.
This is a 2023 movie. And I guess the main guy in it has like a YouTube channel where he plays his character. But he's also the director. And it's kind of about this, like, these tropes need to stop. Like the nerdy kind of incel loves like sort of like horror and games and blah 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 blah, and he's like just a fucking works at a dead end job, like you know. But his character, so I guess this is his thing, that every sentence ends like this, and that's how he talks all the way through.
Oh,
That's really funny for people, and it's a real shame because I like the rest of the crew. I thought it was directed pretty well, but like halfway through, I'm like, I cannot keep on watching this fucking guy talk like this all the time.
And you had no problem with
so there's
no
also
problem with the New York Ripper, but that was a step too far.
no, but of course that he goes to this mansion, Jim, where he is such an incel, but it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it's him and these 5 other contestants go to this guy who is Jeffrey Combs, who's actually really unrecognizable, for a competition. And they all have a character chosen for him, and he's the virgin. Oh, ha, ha, ha.
Can we move on from this impression, please?
Right.
What do you mean, Jim? Yeah, that and what I did was probably even less irritating. Maybe.
Maybe.
But hey, at least he got a movie made.
That's true.
Yeah,
Made.
Right. So
You're
guys,
the real loser, Jim.
that's probably not true. Not untrue. I mean, so guys, I just want to say thank you for hanging out with us. This has been a lot of fun. You guys are welcome back anytime. You want to sit on Zoom for 2 hours.
Right.
But why don't you guys tell us where we can find you again?
You're all welcome back.
Yeah, you can find us at Sinister Scripts Podcast on TikTok, Sinister Scripts on Instagram and Facebook. And anytime you want to talk horror, you come find us out. Come check us out. And Jim, you and Mark need to come on our podcast.
Hey,
We'll come and have you guys on sometime.
Can I talk like this on the Sinister scripts?
I might allow it
podcast?
for a
So,
minute.
I'm gonna
for a
stop the
minute.
live
Yeah.
stream. So everybody say goodbye to Veronica.
Bye, Veronica.
Bye,
Bye,
Veronica.
Veronica.
Okay.
God, I should have brought up the trailer for it so you can see how horrible it is.
Yeah,
I
please
took a
don't.
note. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah. Just I think it was.
Yeah.